So it's a podcast, I suppose. I'm VoidBurger.
I'm Bob. Bob Vids. Same thing.
Wow. Robert Videos. How did you enjoy watching Jacob's Ladder 2019?
It's a complicated question that you ask.
How many layers of dislike are you on?
Many. It's tough to talk about this because on the one hand, like, I'm just gonna let's go ahead and just talk about some of the stuff that maybe.
Well, I feel like first of all, we need to fill people in case you haven't seen Jacob's Ladder. We're going to spoil the heck out of it. Yes. You should just stop listening to this right the hell now and watch Jacob's Ladder, the one with Tim Robbins in it from 1980.
1980? I could probably look it up.
I should have looked this up. It's an 80s movie or a late 70s movie.
1990.
Or very early 90s movie. Okay.
I was going to say, I thought I just saw the trailer that said 1990 in it, and yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Tim Robbins is in it, Elizabeth Pena, Danny Aiello, he's in there. Mm-hmm. But it's a great movie. It's a great, great horror movie, and you should watch it if you have not seen it, because this is not the way to consume this movie, is through a podcast talking about the remake of it, the really subpar remake of it at that. So please, we beg of you, don't listen to us. Watch Jacob's Ladder from 1990.
And look, if you're listening to this, you're probably a Silent Hill fan. And that means you probably did watch Jacob's Ladder. And if you haven't, you are missing out.
You're screwing up.
Jacob's Ladder is a fantastic movie that it's one of those movies that where you watch it, you will see bits and pieces of various movies, media, music. Like, one of the craziest things that happened to me was I was listening to one of my favorite bands growing up was a band called Uncle. And they did a album called Science Fiction. And in that album, one of the reasons I listened to that album was because one of my favorite singers, Tom York from Radiohead, it does a guest song on that. It's called Rabbit in Your Headlights. And Rabbit in Your Headlights, I love that song. Listen to that. What my IT guy at work calls rinsing it. I rinsed it, and it's a lovely song. It's a wonderful music video. It's just the style of it. It's so great. But in that in that song, they actually sample Jacob's Ladder. You'll see devils tearing your life away. But
tearing your wife away. That's also true.
Well, it's more true than you guys know for the new. Anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
But it samples that whole thing, and I have it memorized, like, because of that song. And then I watch Jacob's Ladder, and it's like, oh shit! All of a sudden, I know where that's from. So anyway,
holy fuck!
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a seminal horror movie. It's important watching whether or not you give a shit about Silent Hill, in my opinion. But if you do give a shit about Silent Hill, required viewing, gotta say.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
The gist of the plot is the original one. Jacob Singer is a army veteran from the Vietnam War, and he is in a confusing state of things where he is having lots and lots of flashbacks, PTSD flashbacks to Vietnam, and also PTSD flashbacks to his previous life when he lived with his wife and his 3 adorable children, one of which is Macaulay Culkin. Yep. His very first movie, I think, by the way, if I'm not terribly mistaken. I think that was his first major role in something.
Really?
He was a baby. He was so little.
And Macaulay Culkin's going through a little bit of a Macaulay renaissance. Why did I say resonance?
a Culkin-sance.
A Culkin-sance.
But he was a little precious baby in that thing. Yeah. And spoiler alert, Gabe, that's his name, he's dead. He died, hit by a car or something like that.
Bike,
and so Jacob, on his bike, and so Jacob Singer, who is now a postman in his post-Vietnam life, he is having lots and lots of bad flashbacks to not only Vietnam, but also still grieving the loss of his young child, Gabe, in this horrible accident. And he's currently living with his girlfriend, Jezebel, great name.
Love it.
And everything is super duper fucky. Let's just say that.
Yes.
I don't know. Where would you go from this point? Do you want to spoil the whole thing?
It's up to you. The
May as
main
well.
things to know about Jacob's Ladder is that it has style. It really
Yes.
understood that less is more, and it was sometimes the scares were so subtle. It was like, was that a scare? Like,
Yes.
one of the more
It made you think that were you seeing the things too, because they were so fleeting sometimes, and it was just like really, I don't know. There's so many scenes that you can point to be like, this is the most interesting way to the whole movie is just so damn good. But like, it reminds me of like the way that it portrays like hallucinations and not being sure of your reality and depersonalization and stuff like that is so freaking cool and accurate. And even just like anxiety, it's a very tense movie. It's really good. Like the party scene in the original Jacob's Ladder is incredible because of how it ramps up. Like, it just starts off as kind of an awkward party. He's not really having a ton of fun. His girlfriend's trying to get him into the spirit of things and let's have fun. And
a little
it's
bit
like,
on the nose with the palm reading though, but
yes, the palm reading is a little spooky. He gets his palm read. Your lifeline says you're dead. And he also like goes into the fridge and there's like a goat's head in there, and he's just like, he just gives it like a cockeyed, like, that's weird, sort of like. So for now, at this point in the party, you're just like, well, maybe they're friends with really eclectic people, and this is why there's something, you can kind of write those things off as maybe not too weird, just kind of weird. And then the party just kind of goes haywire, and it's like, oh, is this just like an anxiety attack he's having the way it's directed? Or is he like literally seeing demons and birds flying, and is that demon fucking his girlfriend? Like, what is happening? And pandemonium. It's just like the ramping up of everything is so good. That whole movie is a great ramping up.
Yes.
Into the end.
The thing to know though is if you're epileptic, be careful about that one scene in particular. There are flashing lights.
Yes.
That might be a little bit of a problem. But yeah, I mean, it's just a fantastic movie. I don't know how many times like we need to say it. Just watch it, please. I beg of you. If you haven't, and if you have, hell yeah, we're friends now.
Basically, yes. But anyway, the gist of why he's seeing these hallucinations is, as the story goes, he finds out that like while they were in Vietnam, well, he meets up with his old Vietnam buddies, and they're also having these like horrible PTSD, not just flashbacks, but like full-fledged hallucinations. They think people are after them. They think there's a government conspiracy. Turns out there kind of sort of was a government conspiracy, and the government was like using an experimental drug on the Vietnam troops to make them more aggro in combat, basically. Make them lose their shit and completely like fuck up the enemy. But it kind of backfired because they fucked up everybody, including their own guys. So it didn't work out. And Jacob was one of the survivors after he got stabbed in the middle of the Jacob's Ladder attack. This drug is called the Ladder.
Yes. And there is a very specific callback to when this is revealed, because at the beginning of the movie, it's actually a flashback. It's Jacob and his platoon going in to attack, and it's just pandemonium. And all of a sudden, Jacob's like trying to run away, and then he gets stabbed by Viet Cong, and you get the flashback of that happening again once you've learned that this drug made his platoon basically attack each other, and that the Viet Cong person who attacked Jacob is bayoneted him. It turns into one of his platoon members, and that's stabbing him. So it's a nice little like, oh shit, like you're remembering this wrong. But then it keeps going. We're not done yet.
So all this intrigue happens. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the ladder and stuff like that. He goes and finds a lawyer. The lawyer looks into it. He's like, you were never even in Vietnam. What are you talking about? All this stuff. And like all sorts of strange things are happening with basically every character. His girlfriend is acting weird and aggressive as well and stuff like that. And then like, I don't remember how it kind of like segues into all this other stuff, but there's tons of iconic hallucination scenes in the meanwhile. But long story short, I know that we're already 10 minutes into this podcast basically, but long story short, he goes to his old house where his family used to live when he lived with Gabe and his wife and his 2 other kids who are not even named because who gives a shit? They're not Macaulay Culkin, and I don't care who they are. Not the favorite child, so they don't exist, I guess.
Harsh.
I guess not, because I don't even remember their names. And he realizes there that, like, none of this is happening, and like one of the characters is a chiropractor, his chiropractor, who is like the most wise motherfucker on earth, who has great advice and stuff like that. And one of the things he says was the thing about how, like, devil's tearing your soul away from the earth. You say it, you know it verbatim.
It's a play on Eckhart. So it's I forget how it starts though. Let me look it up.
I know, me too.
The only thing that burns in hell is the part of you that won't let go of your life. Your memories, your attachments, they burn them all away. But they're not punishing you, he said. They're freeing your soul. And this is the part that's in the song. If you're frightened of dying and then you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, then the devils are really angels, freeing you from the earth. And then,
wow.
Yeah. So
thanks, Danny Aiello. You're so wise.
It's such a good God damn it, it's so good, because that's what Eckhart
theme,
said.
Though.
So, but yeah, that's the whole theme. That's the
whole theme.
The entire concept, the entire like premise of the movie is in that quote. And normally that would suck.
That's it.
Normally it would be like, oh well, like all this entire movie can be boiled down into that. But it's so. God, it works so well.
It good though, because it's a great twist it doesn't happen, like him saying that happens at like the midpoint of the movie. Like you don't think it's gonna be like, you think it's just like kind of a hoaxy, folksy, not hoaxy. You think it's just like a folksy thing he's saying, like,
yeah.
An aphorism, and you're just like, oh well, that's nice of him to say. I hope all these hallucinations get sorted out for old Jacob Singer. And then it turns out to be the thesis of the entire movie, because at the end it turns out that none of this stuff happened. He finally comes to terms that none of this is real, and that he was afraid of dying, and he got stabbed in Vietnam, and he fucking died in Vietnam, and the whole Jezebel stuff, the whole post-Vietnam stuff never happened. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember if the Gabe stuff happened or if he was still like alive. I don't remember like when he found out Gabe had died in this whole movie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Did Gabe die before Vietnam and then he went off to Nam? Or did Gabe die post-Vietnam and the happy home life also didn't actually exist? I'm not really clear on that part.
I don't think you're supposed to be. I think that
I think it's
movie,
ambiguous on purpose.
Yeah, it doesn't really answer these questions for a reason. And one of the reasons why I said in the previous in the episode, the Silent Hill 3 Let's Play, when we were talking about this, is the reason why I said that it wouldn't really work now is because that kind of it was all a dream type twist isn't really that's the other thing. It's kind of disingenuous to say that it's a twist. It's just the movie is like hinting at that the entire time, especially with your palm says you're already dead scene. It's like, okay,
there's like a ton of foreshadowing in this movie, like loads and loads, and it's kind of wild that a lot of people allegedly didn't really like it that much when it came out and thought it was confusing, including Siskel. Siskel thought it was confusing, and Ebert called him the fuck out.
Which is funny.
I put it in the LP. I put the clip of Ebert calling him the fuck out, and he was just like, "So you wish the ending was more simple-minded, is what you're saying?" And I was like, "Damn, whoa, Ebert, drag him, Ebert."
You like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right?
Yeah.
break down. Anyway. You could
break down
like that. I don't even watch JoJo, and I know that reference. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's just a fantastic movie. We've already spoiled it, so who fucking cares?
Let's talk about how they fucked up the remake, because it was a great movie and they didn't need to do any of this to it.
Yeah. And one of the things, well, to finish my earlier thought is, I don't think it would really play just because, like, that kind of it was all a dream doesn't really like kind of work now, because it's like oh, what was the point of the movie then? Because a lot of people are just going to say that. And I'm one of the people, I got the first ending that I got for Silent Hill 1 was the bad, was it bad or bad plus, where you're just dead in the car?
Bad minus, he's dead in the car.
Bad minus. Yep. So I got that and it was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Bullshit, yeah.
So, but I could see people reacting that way to this movie because it's like a lot of that stuff, it's not really answered.
I wonder if the bad minus ending was inspired by Jacob's Ladder.
I would say for certain it was. But the cool thing is that it's canon. Anyway, no. Everyone knows UFO ending is canon. Anyway.
Yes, clearly.
So yeah, the other thing about Jacob's Ladder and the thing that may not be like, or actually it's fucking obvious. What am I saying? It has tons of iconic scenes and style, and specifically there is a very specific type of shot that they used for one of the more iconic scenes in the movie is the scene where they're rolling a gurney.
The gurney shot.
Yep, and yeah, it kind of transitions to hell, kind of like really hellish imagery.
And that shot was reused in Silent Hill 2.
Yes, it was. And in Homecoming.
Oh, yes. Well, we know that because Homecoming stole everything that was barely good about it from Silent Hill 2. So there's nothing good about it.
So, Homecoming even stole Silent Hill 2's stealing of Jacob's Ladder references.
Yeah.
But one of the things that...
We're playing telephone with Jacob's Ladder at this point when we get down to Homecoming.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that they also did was they did a specific film trick where you put I think it's where you put your I think it's your frame rate. It might be your no, it's your I think it's your shutter speed. I think it's you put it really high so the light that is let in it takes like your camera takes in more light, and so because of that you see more blurring. And so they use that in a very specific way for one shot where a man is turning, like twisting his head, like to the sides a bunch. And they kind of filmed it in normal speed and then sped it up. And his face just looks like this amorphous blur. And it's
incredible looking.
It's, if you've played Silent Hill, you know exactly what it is. And when you see it in Jacob's Ladder, it's like, oh, that's where they got that from.
Valtiel, if you look at Valtiel in Silent Hill 3, he's doing that Jacob's Ladder head twitch.
Mm-hmm. And it's Jacob's Ladder. That's 100% that. That's why I said that it had style for days, because movies nowadays...
I'd never seen any movie do that effect before Jacob's Ladder.
No, and it's genuinely disturbing. It's genuinely
so good.
Weird, like dreamlike and strange. And so many scenes in that movie are exactly like that. It's wonderful. So anyway,
yes.
Jacob's Ladder 2019 fucked it all up.
All right. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah. Wow. It was really bad, and not just in like I'm somebody who likes bad movies sometimes. You know, like I'm okay watching fucking. There was a really bad movie we watched that had a it might have been called like Nightmare Shark or something, but it was a shark that lives in your dreams, like, and does basically Freddy Krueger but a shark.
Freddy Krueger but a shark. Amazing.
The shark, it's a shark in your dreams, and he comes and eats you in your dreams. And it was the fucking dumbest shit ever, and it was great. Loved every second of it. Piece of shit. Highly recommend whatever the fuck that movie was, because I forget the name. But it also had it was all a dream ending, but then it goes, or is it?
Dun, dun, dun.
And then you see the shark, you see the fucking shark like out a window somewhere. It's like, what?
Just like floating? Or is it like laying on the ground, like flopping around?
No, he's a dream shark, and he's kind of glides through the land like it's water because he's dream shark. I don't know. It was a sci-fi movie, I think. Anyway.
I just want the Street Sharks theme song playing with that. Like, just fucking Dream Shark.
Yep. But I like bad movies, is what I'm saying. And this is not even likable as a bad movie. It is a boring mush of barely reminiscent schmeh.
It really...
I have to make a whole new word for it. Schmeh.
Schmeh. Schmeh. It's exceptionally schmeh. And
Silent Hill meh.
Like my mind is just... I just watched it today, and I'm still trying to process my... Like I was telling you this before we started the podcast, but it's like it's this really weird mixture of sadness and anger and just sheer disappointment.
I'm just like confused and numb.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it was a film, but why was it a film? Like, was anyone proud of this thing? Was anyone working on this that gave a shit? Like, I feel so bad for all the actors. I'm sure they're great actors.
Oh, dude.
I feel bad for the editors. I feel bad for all the people that made this because it's just so fucking dull.
Here's the thing, and this is what I kind of wanted to do at the beginning of this podcast is just kind of praise the film where it it has merits. And one of the merits is that Jesse Williams is a legit good actor.
All of the actors were good. They were given very bad material.
Jesse Williams in particular,
except all the people that played like really strung out vets. They were all I'm crazy. It's like, shut up.
It was oh man.
I've got the crazy homeless eyes because I'm crazy. Like, please stop this. Why?
And then every time I saw Hoffman, the actor who played Hoffman, I think it was Hoffman, the
pharmacist guy.
Yeah, I was like, is that Adam Scott? Like every single time I thought it was Adam Scott.
Yes, he did look like him. I couldn't remember who I thought he looked like.
I think it's Adam Scott. It's probably Adam Scott. Have you seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah, it's the guy from Parks and Rec.
Yep,
yeah,
that's Adam Scott.
I don't know if it's not him in the movie though.
No, it is not. It is a man who
looks better not be
deceptively similar,
just like him. It's his stunt double.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it was a stunt double. But Jesse Williams, you probably remember him from the recent game that he did for that one Creeps studio. What the fuck was the name of that? Where he's a robot. But he's got like
Detroit Become Human.
You got it, Detroit Become Human. But
that one creep, David Cage.
Yep. But the other, I mean, there are a lot of creeps now, and
I mean, you got to narrow it down. Every guy in gaming right now is a fucking trash fire of disgusting, perverted bullshit right now.
It's that could be its own podcast. Anyway, that's the bigger disappointment right there. But Jesse Williams, you also probably remember him from the wonderful little film Cabin in the Woods, where he was fantastic.
That was where he was from. Yep. Oh my God, I could not remember where I had seen him. It was him.
Yep, it was him. I remember.
He was so good in that movie. Oh my God.
He was so good at just playing into the trope of that. What
I still like Cabin in the Woods. A lot of people are really over it and very like, ugh. Well, Joss Whedon about it. I'm just like, the movie was funny. Whatever. I liked the movie. It was fine.
Well, it's not like Joss Whedon did it on his own either. Like, it was co-written. And I mean, you got to separate the art from the artist for more ways.
Sometimes.
For more reasons than one. And in this case,
that was where he was from.
Yep. But yeah, he's a legitimately good actor, and you can tell in this movie that all of the times that he was like, here's the real travesty. Jesse Williams, I mean, besides the writing, which was fucking just, I don't even, like, to your point, why the fuck did they make this movie anyway? But Jesse Williams should have been the main character, the main
Yes,
actor.
That was what I was saying.
That
was what I was saying to Chip when we were watching. I was like, why don't they switch roles? And then plot twist, they kind of ended up switching roles, and that was supposed to be spooky for some reason, but it should have started off the other way because I liked him more.
I liked him more. Here's the thing, I believed him more.
Yes.
And really, you got to give your more screen time to the actors that you can fucking feel like you give a shit about them. You feel like they're being like, they're not acting, like they're just being themselves. And Jesse Williams did a really good job, even with the little stuff that he had, the few lines that he had and the fucking movie is bad, but he had a nice enough arc where it was like he was playing a stereotypical crazy vet at the beginning, but then he kind of arced into just being like a good big brother or a little brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, everyone else was just kind of meh.
Yeah, I feel like we should discuss the major plot changes and character changes.
Absolutely.
Also.
Yeah, we kind of
obviously
talked about that, but
we went from Vietnam and Jacob Singer is a postman to Afghanistan, and Jacob Singer is a combat doctor. And after the war, he is a regular, a surgeon. He doesn't he does have a kid. The kid's name is Gabe.
Gabriel, if I remember correctly.
Gabriel, yeah. Gabriel doesn't matter in the slightest in this movie, though, which is like, why did you take the whole emotional thrust of the movie? Gabriel and make him just like, oh, we have a baby. He's just an object we carry around in some scenes when we want to have a baby around for pathos reasons.
Much like the female lead.
Oh my God, she was pointless, wasn't she?
It was just like, oh man, that twist. We'll get to it, but it was fucking abysmal.
Whatever. But yeah, Jezebel is nowhere to be seen in this whole thing, basically. There is like a prostitute type lady.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I should say sex worker. There is a sex worker type lady in the place of Jezebel. I don't know if she gets named or not at some point. I don't know, but she's useless. She's pointless. Nothing happens there. She's just there to have a sex scene for absolutely fucking no reason at an arbitrary point in the film, but okay. The wife, who I don't remember what her name was in the original. It might have been Sam for all I know.
I think it was
she's
Sam.
in it. She exists in this?
She doesn't have a name on the IMDb credits. Are you fucking kidding me?
For 2019?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Her actress was Nicole Barari, and she has there's no name here. But I do remember they naming her.
The 2019 one.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at
They
it.
call her Sam like 80 times. Like, I think the name Sam came up more times than she had actual lines.
Correct.
So,
but the funny thing is that they don't put her name on the fucking IMDb credits.
maybe she didn't want to be on the IMDb.
Maybe.
She's like, I don't want to be associated with this movie.
You're not wrong.
And yet instead of the movie opens up with somebody we don't know dying in the street from spooky reasons. Okay. Anyway, real opening of the movie.
Yes, I had to stop at that. Remember when he like steps on a can and he looks down and he sees that IED.
It's like an IED grenade thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that that IED actually looked legit because they have a little flip phone attached to it, and it had a call going to it, and I was like I paused on that for some reason. I was kind of like judging it like in close. That's good job prop department. That looked legit. But yeah, some dude I think
the prop department did great when they were allowed to do things, and I feel like everything was just like, no, CG it more.
Yes, and oh man,
fuck the prop department.
So fucking.
But yeah, some guy we don't know dies in the streets. Okay.
Yes. He takes a drug.
Oh yes, he takes a drug.
He's getting he's having flashbacks, PTSD. He goes into the alleyway. Sorry, I'm drilling down. But he goes into the alleyway. He pulls out a drug, an unnamed little bottle. Takes a swig, and then
he drinks it.
Yeah, and then the helicopters that he was seeing overhead go away, and then a person reaches over and starts strangling him,
chokes him out, and kills him.
And right from the start, it's like, okay, movie, you're fucking up. Because it's like right from the start, they're like, is what you're seeing real? Or is it fake? Whoa. Because
it's drugs.
They kept cutting to him being strangled by a guy right across from where the stairs were. And he's kind of reaching over and strangling him through the bars. And then it cuts.
Then they would cut and there's nothing there. And
he's just ODing. He's got he's got rabies and it's just foam.
Oh yeah,
he's
typical
foaming at the mouth. Yeah.
Foam, everyone's constantly foaming at the mouth in this movie.
Yes, a lot.
A lot of foam in this movie. No foam in the original, just gotta say. I don't remember any foam happening.
They went to Starbucks and they specifically requested no foam.
I need lots of foam for my movie. Just give me no coffee, all foam. Thank you.
I just want a cup of foam.
I'm firing half the prop people today and replacing them with computers. So I just need a lot of foam right now. Don't ask me any questions.
Yeah, it wasn't even subtle. It was just hard cut. And it's just like, oh, he's being strangled. Oh, no, he's ODing. Oh, no, he's being strangled. Oh, no, it's there. And it's like, fucking Christ. All right.
Just sad.
It just kind of sets up the sadness. So anyway, continue.
And then I don't remember how it actually goes from that scene to the next scene. Let me just look at the movie, actually. I think it just goes straight to Nam from there. Yeah, it goes.
Yes, it does. Yep, it goes straight
to Afghanistan.
It goes straight to,
not Nam, it goes to Afghanistan. And everything's fine as far as Afghanistan goes. And he gets a phone call from his girlfriend, Jacob does, or his wife rather. And his wife is like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, yay. And then the call cuts out. And then it's like, okay, why? Okay. Also, they're calling from Skype, literally Skype.
Yep. And it's always fun with the how they choose to show disconnections on like movies.
It was really bad looking. And I also want to talk about how much product placement is in this movie. A lot. Like the first thing you see is a Budweiser can in this movie, practically.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And like then it's like immediately straight to Skype. It's like, oh my God, wow, there's a lot here. There's a lot of Budweiser cans in this movie. This movie is sponsored by Budweiser or something.
That makes me wonder if the can that guy at the very beginning stepped on was a Budweiser can or not.
Ooh, is it? Let me go back to the start here. It does look red like a Budweiser.
Oh,
no, I think it's a
Pepsi?
I think it's a Coke can.
Coke? All right.
Or something. Yeah, something like that.
Anyway.
Whatever. But anyway, emergency happens. Jake is pulled into surgery. He has to literally massage the heart of this soldier who's dying.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden he checks out this guy's arm and he's got a tattoo on the arm. And that is his brother's tattoo. He realizes that he is trying to resuscitate his bro. His bro codes, he dies. And then it's like, flashback. Oh.
I don't think his bro died. Not in that scene, because when he's massaging his heart and then that wakes him up, and then he pulls his hand out, and that's when he sees the thing. Because remember, later on they say that he died on the way to the hospital.
En route.
Yeah, en route in the helicopter.
Which makes it less dramatic. He should have died right there in front of him.
Yeah. Like, there's so many weird fucking choices in this movie.
What's with this decision?
Purely to make it more convoluted, and I don't understand. But anyway, so that was a flashback.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to apparently Jacob was having a daydream while
daydream, not even a nightmare, a daydream.
Yeah, while he was supposed to be working on a patient that's right in front of him.
Yeah.
And his coworker, another female doctor, was like, Jacob, what the fuck? And he's like, oh shit. And then
my bad. And then she was like, I thought we lost you there. And he's just like, just trying to keep you on your toes. And she gives him this really cockeyed look. And then the scene immediately stops there.
Yeah.
And it was clear that there was more scene in there where that person was like clearly going to call him out or something for him like spacing out. And it's like, hey, your PTSD is getting out of control. No, just end. Next scene.
It was so weird.
This whole movie felt like the editor was grabbing me by the fucking wrists and dragging me through this movie at the breakneck speed, the most breakneck speed possible. Like, the editor wanted to be done with this movie or something, and like this movie had to be 89 minutes. That's it. Like, could not spare a fucking second.
Which
any character development, anything.
I mean, if there was one thing I would thank the editor for is making this only 89 minutes.
Oh God, I mean, yeah, but it's just like woof. I was getting whiplash from this movie. It was just constant, like, we're here now. The lack of establishing shots was something else.
Yes.
I think there's only 2 establishing shots in this whole movie.
It's like I don't even think that his house got a proper establishing shot.
No, I don't know what his house looks like, and they're in it a decent amount. I feel like we got more establishing shots of a hotel they stayed at later. Yeah. I think we got 2 establishing shots at a hotel and 0 of his own home.
And we definitely got establishing shots of the subway.
And we got like 2 establishing shots of a city whose skyline is not a recognizable skyline. It is Atlanta, Georgia. It took me the whole fucking movie to figure out where the fuck this took place. It was driving me crazy. At some point, you just see on a billboard like Atlanta, and I was like, thank God, I know where I am now. The movie, the original one, takes place in New York City,
yes.
A city with a distinguished skyline. You can recognize it. You recognize what the subways look like. It is a famous fucking place.
Very recognizable, yep.
Atlanta looks like nothing to me. It looked like a fake city, and I had no idea what was happening, where we were. But whatever.
Like, it wouldn't
it's
have...
me being a privileged New Yorker, being like, every other city looks like shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's perfectly fine to, like, use different locations other than New York. I don't think you're saying that. But
yeah, no, it's like, if it was France, I'd be like, I know it's France because there's the Eiffel Tower. They always show that. I thought it was in...
there's the Eiffel Tower. You need recognizable things.
I thought it was in D.C., for a really long time, but then I was like, no, why are they showing a city? Why wouldn't they show like the Capitol building, the Washington Monument?
Yeah, and
it must not be DC.
The metro signs were all off. I knew immediately it wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, DC. Is this the DC? I've only been in it once, so I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was in Fallout 3, so it probably would look more like that. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I had no idea where we were for most of this movie. It was driving me up the fucking wall. I don't know why.
Which wouldn't have mattered if they had gone with the plot of the original fucking movie. But anyway, yeah. So, like, he wakes up or yeah, I think it just straight up like he's like walking out. I don't know. You have the movie in front of you. I forgot exactly how we get from beat to beat because it's just so fucking nothing.
It cuts straight from the hospital to home with his baby and his wife.
Yes, that was the jump cut that I really was just confounded by.
So confusing. And then like he's talking to his wife a little bit. I don't know. I think she's like, hey, you're still real sad about your brother being all dead and stuff. And then, like, for some reason, like, he's, like, kind of being a little sad and melancholic on the couch. And then for some reason, his wife comes by wearing one of his shirts with no pants on. So you know what's up. They kiss a little on the couch. And then it cuts.
She kind of smirks.
And it's back to Afghanistan.
She straddles him, and then it goes back to Afghanistan. Yeah.
Afghanistan. And then it's morning time. And he wakes up. And she's like going somewhere for work or something, and he goes to work, and oh my god, it's just like constant cuts to new locations. It's madness. This movie is just boring madness. But we cut to the pharmacist.
Yes.
So this is a character that I think is supposed to be the guy in Jacob's Ladder who is the chemist, but you don't meet that guy until like the last like third of the movie.
They really expanded his role.
He's in the first 10 minutes of this movie. So it's like, okay, we got this guy who looks like the dude from Parks and Rec. He's a friend of Jacob's. He's a pharmacist. I don't know why, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're just buddies, but they're kind of clandestinely talking about drugs a little bit.
Yeah.
And about how, like, there's a lot of vets out here and they need a lot of PTSD medicines, don't they? Wink, wink. That is the whole plot of the movie. And then some guy in the waiting room, like, codes because he's got the shakes and he's a vet.
Yeah, and then he starts spitting out his Starbucks all foam drink.
Yeah, he spits out his latte. And as he's getting wheeled away on the gurney, he grabs Jacob's arm. He says, Jacob. And he kind of does this like, huh?
Oh, and he like stops and looks at him like, oh, he said my name.
Like, why do I know that man?
Which is like, don't doctors usually have little like labels that say their name?
name tags? Yeah, no, none of these doctors do, by the way. It's really weird. Also, this hospital he works in looks like a weird like DMV. Like, it doesn't look like a hospital.
Yeah, the VA hospital that he's at is yeah.
Yeah. Maybe VA hospitals look like DMVs, in which case, I'm sorry, America. We're really fucking that up. It cuts to outside. It's raining. Some vet under a bridge is like, Jacob, I know you, and I'm all crazy. I got me the crazy eyes.
There are people talking.
Yeah, people are talking.
Oh, and you can't see them, but that's just because you're not crazy like me.
They're coming after me, Jacob. And you too, Jacob. I knew you in the war. And then it cuts to his therapist's office, and he's got this therapist that looks like Kevin Spacey's stunt double. And he's like talking about his PTSD stuff, and he's just lying to him and being like, nope, no nightmares, doing fine, doing good.
Everything good.
It's kind of weird that vet was bugging me, though.
And just real quick, I totally forgot in the original Jacob's Ladder that Lewis Black was Jacob's doctor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I totally, like, I'm looking at the fucking acting, the actor
God.
credits here, and it's, oh my good Lord.
That's weird. I didn't know that. So yeah, he's in therapy for stuff, but it doesn't help if you're kind of lying to your therapist. And he's guilty about his brother's alleged apparent death. He's quite sure he's dead. He was told he was dead. He never saw the body, though.
Never saw the body.
You know how it is when you know to see the body.
He was told he died en route.
En route.
And all the others saw were coffins.
So yeah, it's like, oh, if you could see your brother today, what would you tell him? He's like, I'm sorry. You know.
Oh God, I forgot.
But they also have some flashbacks about how they had a contentious relationship because basically, his brother used to be dating Sam, who ended up being the wife of Jacob. So they were originally dating, and basically Jacob stole his girl, which, you know, okay.
Because girls are things to steal.
And then, like, for some reason, like, okay, it cuts back to the shrink's office. He kind of leaves the shrink's office, and for some reason, his pharmacist friend is in the parking lot with his brand new Honda, by the way. It looks very shiny and new and perfectly placed in the center of the fucking frame. And he's hanging out with this girl that we don't know. She'll come back later and be a totally different character, I think. Yep. I don't know.
I am pretty sure you're right. Yeah.
Almost all of the white guys in this movie, I cannot tell them apart. It took me so long to be like, wait, was that the pharmacist from earlier, or is this the other guy with the beard who's also a brunette? And it's like I was like so confused who people were. There's also like 5 different vets in this movie. Man, it's probably 3 different vets, but I can't tell which is which because they're all caked in various degrees of filth and dishevelment that I can't tell them all apart.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But and then there's like a weird confrontation in the parking lot where he's like, "We don't hang out anymore, Jake. Like, don't let the head shrinkers get you or something." It's like, what the fuck is this exchange? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that was weird. And you could tell that they kind of rewrote that a few times because he really quickly after he says like, "Oh, don't let that guy get in your head, man. Psychiatry's bullshit." And then it's like, that's just my opinion. Anyway, I'll see you later.
It was so weird and not in a purposeful way.
Like, someone clearly was like, look, if like someone will watch this and think that we're saying that psychiatry is bad as a profession, or like mental health is something that like you shouldn't care about or something. It's like, oh, wait, hold on. Let's append it a little bit to make it a little bit more like safe.
Oh man.
It's just
like for the whole movie being about like PTSD and mental health and war, it has no stance on it.
Nope.
Like it does not care about the horrors of war. Like it doesn't feel like it has any like it's treating these vets as like a spectacle. It feels like a freak show.
Yes,
sort of.
It feels like,
which is weird because the original Jacob's Ladder had actual real amputees that were amputees from wars and stuff like that, and thalidomide afflicted persons, like in certain scenes, like people with I don't know how to correctly say deformities. I don't know if that's the correct term anymore. Birth defect is also not like considered the correct terminology anymore. So forgive me if I don't have the correct words, but people who do not have average bodies because of war reasons. Like they actually use those people in the original Jacob's Ladder to not just be like scary in a traditional way, but in like a human based sort of way. I don't think it was just a freak show reason, but like all of these like able-bodied people in this are just like, I'm crazy. And it's like just to be scary. It's not to like give you this human effect where it's like, oh my God, war is horrible. Should not be done to people. The effects of war is so far reaching.
Yeah.
And like, that's the scary thing, is that we're doing this to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie treats the horrors of war and PTSD and all of the trauma that goes along with that like a Halloween mask, and it's just like, oh, ooga booga,
the new one,
like, oh man, isn't this scary? And then it like you said, it has no stance on it. It has like, oh, other than PTSD, man, that sucks. That PTSD
seems like it sucks.
Really, man, shit. Anyway, goodbye. Roll credits.
Basically.
But yeah, dude, it's so sad, especially considering the source material. But yeah,
But anyway, Jacob goes to the subway for the first time out of fucking 5 times or something. He constantly goes back to the subway. It's as if the people who made this movie watched Jacob's Ladder like 10 years ago and didn't rewatch it before they made this movie, and they thought the whole thing was in a subway. Because goddamn, we are in this subway many times.
I mean, like the subway is a very iconic like section of the first Jacob's Ladder, and it sucks that I have to say the first Jacob's Ladder. But it really, if memory serves, it didn't, like the subway scene wasn't that long. Like, no,
it was just
it was at the beginning of the movie. It was really good. It was really powerful. It was visceral. And then it ended. Yeah. But this movie, it's just like you said, it's like, oh, here's the first time that we go to the subway. Here's the second time. Oh, there's one time when they cut to it. He's like, Jacob's like running, and it's like, where the fuck are you going? Because it was a part of the movie where it was like, okay, he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. And so what does he do? He runs to the fucking subway.
Gotta go to the subway, man. The source of it all, man. This is a subway. They almost had a nice shot here when he's entering the subway where he's really center framed and going down the long escalator, but the camera is not in the right position for that to be interesting, and they fucked up the only potential good shot they could have had.
Oh my God, that was another infuriating thing. Probably the biggest mistake that this movie made was that it was just competent. It's like everyone who worked on the movie,
it was just
that's the point.
Fine.
Like,
yeah,
it's just barely crosses the line of like acceptable. And there's no like passion. There's no fucking anyone going out on a limb. It's all just standard fucking shots with the same
By the book.
green, fucking yellow, shitty, early like 2010 color grade. It's just oh Christ.
The color correction on this movie is wild. They went to town with a green highlighter on half the movie and a yellow highlighter on the other half, the Afghanistan half. And it's just like you could just it just like it switches between cuts too.
Yes.
Like it's not disorienting in a good way or in a purposeful or an artistic way. It's just like they fucked up and they didn't care to fix it.
I am like, this is my stock and trade. Like, I do this kind of...
This is your job.
And there are scenes where it was very hard to look at because there was one particular shot where the grade, they clearly faded between two different LUTs in a way that it's so bad. And LUTs are lookup tables. It's basically like a color correction file that you can apply to footage. And the way that they like tweened between the grades, it was just everything was like a Sony color correction kind of a look, which is basically blue and yellow, and because Sony color the cameras like their base is kind of leans toward the blue. Their darks are kind of bluish, and then their brights are a little yellow. But what happened was you have that, but they just took all of the blue out and just replaced it with green, and it was a fade.
Yes.
The way that it worked, it was just like it looked so fucking gross, and it was just like, oh, someone was just clocking in, and they just like
just get this over
fucking
with.
Crossfaded between this shit, and it was just like whatever. Fuck it.
No one cares. No one's gonna see this thing. It's not getting. It was a made for Showtime.
Yeah.
Like it was a made for Showtime sort of thing, and then it got like a theatrical release August 23rd, and it's in no movie theaters. I cannot find this movie legitimately. Like,
nope. I watched it on Google Play Movies, and I watched it for free because I have this thing. Which, by the way, if you're on Android, you should totally get the Google. I think it's called Google Surveys. But basically, it gives you free credits, free money for doing bullshit surveys every now and then. I forget the name of it. I could look it up.
Make sure you lie to Google. They're pretty evil right now too.
Yeah, it's called Rewards, Google Play Rewards, and so yeah, you can lie to them if you wanted, but I've got like $40 in there, and I just used like $1 from it to watch this movie. I rented it,
and this was your Google reward.
It was
watching
for doing
Jacob's
a bunch of
Ladder
nonsense surveys on bullshit that I drive past places, and it's like, did you visit this place? And I was like, fuck no. And they were like, oh, okay, here's 10 cents. I'm like, all right. Anyway.
Google is tracking you so accurately now.
I think it's also available on Prime. I think that's where I first saw it, because I was shocked that it was out. Like, I was like, well, wait.
Yeah, no trailers, no posters, no TV ads. It was just a YouTube ad that I saw like last month. Yep. And I was just like, what are they? They're doing what? What, huh?
Yeah, you mentioned it, and it fucking blindsided me. And
yeah.
It feels like one of those
during
things...
the LP, I mentioned it, and you were just like, they're doing what? And it's out?
Yeah.
And what?
It was so shocking. And then the other thing was, it feels like one of those things where it's kind of like how Konami, like, recently was like, oh, yeah, we're going to renew the Silent Hill IP. And people were like, oh, that means that they're going to... it's like, no, they just needed to renew it so that they can make money off their existing shit. And maybe eventually... Like, they're keeping the IP so they can fucking make pachinkos. But here,
you know what happened to Goemon? Nothing.
So here it feels like if they didn't do something with the Jacob's Ladder, like, IP, then they would have lost it.
Yeah. This is just that.
Yeah.
That's what they did with Dumbo and stuff, right? That's why they're doing all these weird remakes right now.
Yeah.
Well, at least Dumbo was for that reason, because that would have been in public domain otherwise because of its age, but Lion King and all that stuff, not so much. I think those were just to make it look like they weren't doing the Dumbo thing for the reason they were doing it.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I don't know. Disney's pretty evil right now, too.
Also, it should be noted that the characters in this are black. A lot of the main characters are black, and the female lead is black. And so basically, if you look up this movie on Google, I'm seeing it on Google Play Movies, almost like 30%, like 30%, 2 of the 5 reviews are just like, this is an SJW fucking bullshit nonsense remake. I can't believe that they would do. And just want to.
If you look at the comments on the trailer, I don't even want to repeat the horrible things that people are saying.
I'm not.
Blatant, outright, horrifying racism in the comments. Do not read those comments. Tell you what.
Do not read the comments. But the reason I point that out is just because I want to make perfectly clear that of all of the mistakes that this movie makes, switching the races.
That's not one of them.
Is not one of them at all.
Absolutely not. No, it has zero impact on anything.
If anything,
because it doesn't matter in the original movie, like who's white or not.
It makes no difference. And
like he's dating a Hispanic woman, and half of his army buddies are black, and it's just like Jacob just happens to be white because that's like unfortunately the default for Hollywood is a white guy.
Yep. But anyway, just wanted to mention that and how shitty some of these reviewers are. And anyway, like if you're gonna rate this movie badly,
and it's not because it's an SJW cash-in or anything like that. Like that is not even the reason why this movie is bad.
Like that's just as frustrating as the movie itself. Like that people are fucking getting mad at that. It's like really that of all things. Anyway, sorry.
It's also a shame because I feel like those kind of jerks will point to that as if it's the reason that this movie is tanking and it was terrible and has bad reviews. Oh, it's because they made all the characters black. Nobody wants to see movies with all these black people in it. And it's like, that is not the reason why people are not seeing this, is because it's not distributed correctly. It wasn't advertised at all. And also, it's a very mediocre movie.
It's a mediocre movie that completely misses the fucking point of the original movie.
Yeah.
And if you're saying that this movie is bad because they fucking switched the races of some of the main characters, you miss the point just as much as this movie did of the original.
You miss the point of life. You miss the point of motherfucking life if you give a shit about that stuff.
So anyway, I'm
get one, get a life. Fuck.
These shitheads saying this shit. Anyway, but yeah, continue.
Don't watch my Let's Play. Don't watch any of my content if you're racist. Just go the fuck away.
If you're racist, man, just let me get you a get well soon card.
Get well now.
Get well yesterday.
Oh my God. But anyway, back to the movie.
Yes.
Jacob goes to the damn subway.
Oh shit!
For the first time, we actually.
Wait, where are we in the movie? You're not being specific.
Fucking 16 minutes in.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to speed this up.
Yeah, we gotta speed this up. He sees the homeless guy with he's got spooky, ugly feet with like worms on it or something, and that's supposed to be spooky. In the original movie, I think it was some kind of like.
It was like a tentacle.
Appendage, like a tail or a tentacle or something like that, and that was weird. But he leaves after seeing this guy with the nasty weird feet, and then he just leaves the whole subway, and that's his subway ride. And I was just like, wait, you're only doing that part of the subway? That's kind of weird. No, don't worry, we'll be back to the subway. He goes from the subway. Here's the cut between the subway and where we're going next. Subway, and then it cuts to him leaving someplace with flowers. Confusing.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't know where he got these flowers. Yeah, like it's just like this whole movie is a blur of total fucking confusion.
I just watched this today, and like that's not.
The doors of the subway close, and then ding, he's leaving a florist shop with flowers.
All right. Nice
I watched this yesterday, and I've forgotten like all of it. Like it's crazy. So he goes home with flowers. And his home's been broken into, and he grabs a bat, and it's been broken into by like a crazy homeless guy with a really fucked up like evil monster face.
2 crazy homeless guys.
And was there 2?
There was 2. Yes.
Really?
I remember because the way that I remembered that scene was he grabs a bat. Which, by the way, do most people have bats like in their umbrella, like like the things that hold their umbrellas.
Maybe he lives in a crappy neighborhood
That's
that has
true.
beautiful wrought iron fences in the middle of the nicest part of Atlanta. I don't really know.
His foyer
His
is
foyer.
fucking amazing. Did you see that door?
A transcendent foyer.
It is incredible. Anyway, he has a wonderful house, so whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, he had a bat. He just picked it up and goes upstairs. And there's these people, like just two homeless dudes with hoodies because
Two.
gotta hide
Are you
the
fucking
faces.
sure there's two?
There are two, yes.
Really? There's two.
Because I remember this because it was really fucking weird because he gets attacked by one of them at first, and if I remember correctly, he like fights him off, punches him. That guy gets slammed into a picture frame, and that shatters, and then he falls onto the ground, and the other guy starts attacking him. And then he basically, that's the guy who yells at him that thing that he said. I forget what was like. Oh, you better shut up or whatever.
I didn't understand him at all.
And then he jumps out the window.
Yeah, there was a second guy.
Yep.
It was just so confusingly edited that I thought there was only one guy. I still think there might be only one guy, and the edit is super bad.
They just went into After Effects and duplicated him.
I think that because you don't see them ever at the same time.
Yeah,
and the
that's
other,
true.
Oh, okay. No, wait, you do. That guy runs away. He takes the guy that's on the floor and puts him in his car.
In the trunk. Yep.
And tries to deliver him to the police station, but he opens his car trunk and nobody's there.
Nobody's there.
Woo! And he meets his like Vietnam vet friend again. They go back into the subway.
Yep.
His Vietnam friend has a conversation with him. There's a zombie lady looking at them during this, and then his friend gets pushed by the zombie lady into the oncoming train, and Jacob is disturbed, and nobody seems to have noticed that this guy died.
Really quick.
So then it cuts.
I just want to hold on this for a second. They were right next to.
No, I'm determined to go through this movie at the breakneck speed that I felt while I was watching this movie.
Did you call that he was going to get pushed in front of the fucking train?
Oh, of course.
Exactly.
Incredibly obvious.
Like, I want to know who watched that scene and was like, oh, they're standing right on the fucking edge of the train tracks. Like,
oh, I can't believe that's what happened to that poor, sweet man.
Oh my God, he was only in a prime position to get shoved into an oncoming train while talking about
talking about government conspiracies trying to kill him.
Yeah, totally. Oh wow, weird.
Extremely predictable.
Someone actually did it. Strange.
By the way, every scare in this movie is shown in the trailer.
Yes. And I
like every one of them.
I went back to make a tweet about it because we'll talk about it when we get to it. But in order to make that tweet, I needed to grab a screenshot. And I was like, for some reason, my print screen wasn't working on my PC for Google Play because they like black out the movie. And so I had to go to the trailer on YouTube. And yeah, you're totally fucking right. Every single one. And I found the scare that I was looking for in that trailer. Yeah. And it was just like, what?
It's just a cut of all the scares in Jacob's Ladder. And then they called it a trailer.
It's amazing to me that like none of those scares landed. Like
No, they were all really bad. None of them were actually scary. And it doesn't help that they're all in the trailer, of course. So we already knew it was going to happen. Exactly. But it was just like, it was super obvious when they were going to happen. And the tension was not done correctly every time. They just didn't know how to edit tension into this movie.
Nope. And the other thing is like Jacob's Ladder is such an iconic horror like staple. And I don't understand how you could remake it and then have a movie at the end of it where you're really, really stretching the definition of horror to get to this point.
Yeah.
Like this is more like thriller.
More like borer.
I get it. New term coined, copyright 2019.
Oh, this movie was so boring. Oh my God, it was so boring. It doesn't even feel like the person who made this watched Jacob's Ladder. Like it just seems like they got a script and were just like, I don't want to copy the thing or something like that. So the only things in this thing are like things that the only like reminiscent parts from the original Jacob's Ladder that are in this are things that can be described by a screenwriter, and it has like no visuals in common.
Yep. One of the big things that we're going to get to here in a second, I'll just save it. But yes, you're totally right. It's like the screenwriter just went to Wikipedia, read the plot, and then watched the trailer on YouTube. And it was just like, okay, I know the iconic scenes that are in the trailer for this movie.
Got the gist.
Subway, ice tub, that's it. Go.
Yep, there you go. But anyway, his friend gets killed by the subway. It cuts to the police station. He's trying to report this. The cops don't believe him. One of the cops looks like Reggie Fils-Aimé's stunt double.
By the way, he's talking to the cops with blood on his shirt.
Yeah, he's got blood on his shirt.
And they don't believe him.
I don't know how he got the blood on his shirt because, like, he was far enough away from that man that I can't imagine blood would get on him, but okay. I'm no forensic anthropologist.
Well, I think the blood was from a previous shot. I think it was from when he got attacked, because I think it's still the same night. Anyway,
right.
Continue. Sorry, I keep holding you up.
Anyway, cops don't believe him. They cut back to the motherfucking subway.
Hell yeah.
We are 24 minutes. We're 24 minutes in at this point. We've been to the subway 3 separate times. That is absolutely bazonkers. He decides to go into the subway on the tracks and everything, because that was something that his buddy, who's dead now, he was mentioning that there's like a whole underground society of vets and they're all fucked up like me, with the crazy eyes. And so he goes down there thinking that his brother might be down there because your brother's alive, man. This guy has been telling him this whole time, your brother's alive. What if that? And he's taking his word for it.
And this is the part where they actually say the ladder. Like, this is, I forget if the ladder is representative of the drug that they take, which I think is
Yes, that is the street name. The street name of the drug is the ladder.
Right. But here it's like confusing because it was like the place that I thought for a second that the place where they were going in the subway was called the ladder, because the way that he says it, it's like really strange. Anyway, I just wanted to confirm that it was the drug like in the original and not like some place where everyone meets.
It is the drug, but the thing is that the drug in Jacob's Ladder, the original, is different entirely from the drug in this movie, because the original drug was for aggroing people so that they fought better, like animals.
Yes.
Had no emotions, just killed. In this one, it's actually the opposite. It's a PTSD drug, and it's for getting over all the people you killed in a war scenario. So it's like a completely different kind of drug, and people are taking it after war to help with their symptoms.
Yes.
Unsuccessfully, it seems. The FDA did not want to approve it because guess what? It makes you see fucking demons and shit. So big surprise there. I'm on the side of the government so far with this one, which is a bad way to change that drug, to make me side with the government on that one. You messed up.
Government's like, no, this is killing people. And you're like, no.
And all the people in this movie was like, I need the drug though. Yeah, he goes down. We have another reminiscent subway scene where he's the subway car passes him by, and there are figures staring at him in the subway, but it looks absolutely terrible.
It's kind of hard to make out actually what's happening.
It's
just
really
so
bad looking.
Anyway, continue.
I'm just watching it again, just being like, wow, it is just so blah. It just looks like somebody's reflection. Getting thrown on there. It doesn't look like people are inside the train. Yeah,
it's like someone's in the shower, and you've got like that glass that's kind of glossy, and it's like they're standing pretty far back, and it's just like it's like kind of a person, like it's
just
form.
Like a reflection. It doesn't feel like there's bodies looking at him from the train, which is why it was an impactful scene initially, because it's like there's weird people, they're looking at you from the train. And then he goes into a really dark area with his cell phone on so he can see with the light on, and his screen is just pure blue. And I think that's really funny because phones don't work that way. And I just can't believe that we still live in a world where people can't get cell phones right in movies. It's fucking 2019.
Well, it's funny because
they don't do this.
It's funny because the light on the front of it, the display, is on so that they can have a reason for Jacob to be frontlit, so that you can actually see his profile and his face, because otherwise it's just a light coming out of the back of the phone. You're right, though. I saw that and it was just like, really? You couldn't just like up your ISO a little bit so that you can see like the form and then just have the light on the back? Because who the fuck? Like, I remember back in the day when you downloaded like flashlight apps, and it would just turn your screen bright, and so
really
you turned
white,
it around. Yeah. So.
And it's just like, I don't personally need a diegetic reason for his face to be lit in any scene.
Right.
I don't super care about that sort of stuff when it comes to a horror movie. It can be as much style as you want. I don't need a diegetic reason for, it's like, wait, how come I can see his face? Shouldn't it be pitch black? Ding! Like, no, his fucking phone has to be on facing him, like, for it to be lit. Shut the fuck up, movie. Come on. But yeah. He's front lit because of that reason. Who cares? He
doesn't-
finds the underground homeless camp, which has a guy in here that looks like Bill Paxton's stunt double with a beard on. And they're talking about the ladder, and he finds his brother. He's down there. It's the guy from Cabin in the Woods that I love. And he's all junked out on the junk.
What do they call it? What is the name of the drug?
The ladder.
No, but they have a specific name.
Oh, it's like LDA or something.
Yeah, it's like some
garbage.
acronyms that they explain later. It's
made up thing. Who cares?
It's a lot.
It so doesn't even matter. But we're at the half-hour point. We have found his bro. He brings him back home. He's all glassy-eyed and sad and all drugged up. And they re-meet his wife, and they're having lots and lots of breakfast food in the kitchen, like lots of eggs and toast.
Yeah, they keep giving him eggs.
Give me them eggs, man. I need more eggs.
Eat these eggs. You need that protein.
He makes some more eggs, and it takes 20 seconds for him to make an entire new batch of eggs. I will ding the movie on that, though. I think that was funny. I think it's funny when any movie is like, I'm going to do something time consuming. I'll be right back. And literally 20 seconds later, they'll be back with the finished product. It's reminds me of cooking shows where it's we have one already prepared in the oven,
I mean, he might have made a whole bunch of eggs and then just popped it into the microwave.
Whole bunch of eggs. I don't know, maybe.
I don't think so. I think they actually show him with the oven on. Anyway.
I don't know.
But yeah.
But everyone's all sad and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're alive. Why are you here? What happened to you? Blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, I've been all fucked up. And then he's he's mad at Jacob. His name's Isaac, by the way. Isaac is mad at Jacob for having this really perfect life while he was away. And then he gets a nosebleed, and the scene from Jacob's Ladder that happens after the party, where the party scene happens, a big hallucination, totally awful. Then it cuts to the apartment. Jesse is like, I've never been so embarrassed in my entire life, and Jacob is sick. And she checks his temperature, and he's got 105-degree fever or 108-degree fever, which means he's about to die. Yep. So they shove him in a bathtub full of ice. Very iconic. Her knocking all the neighbors' doors to get enough ice for everybody. Yep. But these people live in a super nice house with a ton of ice for no reason, just in case they have a really nice party where they need to put all the beers on ice outside or something like that. So they've got their own ice. They shove this dude in the bathtub because he's got a nosebleed. And he's foaming at the mouth because that's what we do in this movie. Yep.
It should be noted that
everybody foams at the mouth in this movie.
It should be noted that everyone foams at the mouth in this movie. Yes.
I think the only person who didn't is Sam, the wife.
Yep. It's true.
And maybe the therapist.
So the thing that fucked me up about this scene is that it's the ice tub scene. It's Jacob's Ladder. You gotta have the subway. You got to have the ice tub. Mm-hmm. You got to fill that tub with ice.
You got to have the
somehow.
gurney. You got to have the gurney scene.
You got to have that gurney scene. Those are the three. Those are those are the scenes. You can't do Jacob's Ladder without those three scenes. So this one, the problem, it falls apart because of their adherence to the original and wanting to recreate that scene. For me, it was okay, you've got a main character who is a fucking doctor. He knows what to do, what pills to prescribe. He knows what emergency situations are. He knows what to do. He's very likely got ice packs and certain things that would help in this situation. Not rely on a tub that probably wouldn't be able to get freezing cold water with just the ice cubes, the few ice cubes that they have in their fucking house. But also,
nobody calls 911, I don't think.
No one calls 911. It's just the police have proven themselves to be ineffective at this point, you can say. But the whole point of this scene was that it was, in the original, was that it was dire. It was, no one knew what to do. They had to do something. And the best that Jezebel could think to do was to put him in a tub and ice him. And it was just such an inelegant solution, but it worked so well and was so iconic.
And the desperation of going door to door and waking people up at 3 a.m, being like, I need ice, get me ice.
Please help. Yes.
It's the desperation was great. And it's also they lived in the middle of Brooklyn. They probably don't have a car. They would have to call an ambulance, and it would probably take a little while to get there. So they didn't have time to do that shit. But it's these people have a car, and also he's a doctor, and it's
why
he works at a hospital.
it's such
At a vet hospital, even.
yeah, and it's such an inelegant solution, but it's so like that, like it does what horror does really well, which is that tension of like, will they be able to pull this off with the means that they have available? And like just seeing him in the tub is just like his eyes glazed over, just laying in that tub with ice. It's just so powerful. Whereas here, it's just like it doesn't work.
I love this image that they tried to recreate of Isaac instead of Jacob in the tub with the ice. Because, Jacob, like you said, amazing look, that glassy-eyed look. You're not sure if he's dead. Like, he looks horrible.
Yep.
The look that Isaac is giving the camera looks like a cat that got wet and he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, that's the look of a cat that just got yelled at and sprayed with the spritzer, because he looks like a little petulant, adorable kitty to me. I don't know why.
They even kind of recreate that overhead shot too. And I forget, in the original, was Jacob saying like, why are you trying to kill me? Because he totally said, why are you trying to kill? Isaac totally said, why are you trying to kill me in this one?
Yeah, I think so. But fucking Jacob was actively dunking him.
Yep.
Like
and
an
even
asshole.
There was one weird cut where it was like, are you holding him underwater? Because
yeah, he was like holding him and dunking him underwater, and it's like, why are you doing that?
It's like there's no way that
just weird.
I'm gonna refrain from going incredibly nitpicky on that, but yeah, it's a clear marked difference between the original and the new movie, and it just kind of highlights a lot of the problems. Anyway, continue.
Just weird. Anyway, after that we flash all the way back, kind of, to a field where two little boys are playing. This is clearly Isaac and Jacob as children. Yep. And it looks like an Andrew Wyeth painting, and I wish they did that intentionally, and they probably didn't. But it zooms out, and it's not actually happening. It's not actually out the window. It's Isaac having this dream. They have a little bro chat about how they used to go to Grandpa's farm or something, and they have a little emotional moment. Hey, go to bed, buddy. And
pouring beer on the worms. One for me, one for you.
One for the wormy boys. I don't know. But
the wormy
anyway, Jacob finds drugs in Isaac's jacket or something. Oh my god, what is this droog?
Not in my house.
Not in my house. Not with my baby.
Not with my baby.
I thought that was kind of funny, because she was just the wife, I think, was like, I don't want drugs in my house, not with Gabriel around. And it's like, this baby is not even crawling age. He is not going to crawl up into this room, unscrew the cap, and drink all this fucking poison. That would be a very advanced baby. But whatever. I don't disagree with her. I just think it's funny that it's just this is not even a toddler. This is an infant. He's not going to be able to even do that shit. But he's like, I want to get this shit tested out. I want to find out what this drug is. Mm-hmm. He goes to the VA hospital. He runs into his therapist, who's on his way somewhere else and could not be asked to talk to him at all.
Nope. Fuck off.
So the moment he says Isaac's alive, and he's just like, no, he is not. He died en route to Germany or some shit. And then out of basically nowhere, well, he says, Jacob tells this guy oh, Isaac's been seeing demons and stuff because of this drug he's on. And this is when the therapist drops the whole demons tearing away at you, it's actually angels freeing you from the earth. Mm-hmm. That's when this line happens. That's a weird place. Seems extremely arbitrary.
So this is the thing that I was researching before we started this. We actually delayed a little bit so that I could find this exact spot, because so I'm watching this on Google Play, right? And I got the subtitles on, and something fucking happened that I stopped. It was just, I had to pause it.
Oh.
And
I'm on the edge of my seat. What happened?
It made me fucking.
What is it?
Okay, here's what happened.
What happened?
So the original quote is, "You will see devils tearing your life apart." This fucking movie fucks up the most iconic quote from the original Jacob's Ladder. And it says, "Then you will see battles tearing your life apart."
No, he did not say that.
Watch it.
He said demon. I'm watching it.
He says battles. It even says battles in the subtitles.
Let's see.
if you are frightened of dying, then you will see devils tearing your life apart.
What the hell?
It hurts everywhere.
Battles?
Battles.
That doesn't even make sense.
Nope. I mean, it doesn't make sense for his fucking psychiatrist to be saying this shit.
Maybe the guy flubbed the fucking line or something, because it doesn't even make like grammatical sense.
Here's the fucked up thing about that part, though, because they do a cutaway to Jacob. They could have
they could have ADR'd it.
They could have ADR'd it.
They could have ADR'd, yeah.
And it's like,
they didn't ADR. They didn't care.
Battles?
They didn't care.
Battles. You will see
care.
battles tearing your life apart. Battles.
Right.
They
You
fucked
will see
up
battle bots
the most
tearing your life apart.
iconic line.
Woo.
You will see
That's a
devils
weird
tearing your
thing.
life apart. And then he says devils in the next sentence. But like he goes, yeah, you'll see battles tearing your life apart. But once you've made your peace, then the devils.
Maybe he flubbed the
Or
line. I
angels.
don't know.
I
I think maybe he flubbed it because it doesn't sound quite right. Anyway, Jacob doesn't have a really great conversation with that guy because he's just like, whatever. He needs help. Bye. I got a flight to catch or some fucking shit. I don't know. I've got a meeting. Bye. He goes to the basement of the VA hospital. He runs into a vet who is spoopy. And he's the guy we saw earlier that looks like Bill Paxton with like a prosthetic in his mouth so his mouth looks funny, and a beard so his beard looks all funny. And this guy is like, I need help. And he's like, okay, I'll bring you into a hospital room. I'll be right back. And he turns around. The guy's gone. Turns out he's on the ceiling being all twitchy and fucking stupid, and he jump scares him. And then he runs out. And he runs away and Jacob chases him, and he gets out to the hallway, and the guy's gone. He runs to another guy, and that guy's like, I didn't see nobody. And he's just like, huh? So then he actually meets up with his fucking pharmacist friend, who is busy having a ton of brewskis, I think, in this scene. Am I right? Just tons of.
think so. I think he was watching something on a computer.
No, there was brewski. There's Bud Light. Yeah, Bud Light in this scene. Tons of Bud Light. There's Bud Light in the fridge. There's Bud Light on the lab desk. He's drinking some Bud Lights.
God, you weren't kidding. Why didn't I
there's all these
notice all
tons of Bud Lights in this.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't think this is good lab safety protocol.
This is Bud heavy.
It's just stupid. God, this movie's stupid.
Bud Light heavy. Anyway, yes, you are correct.
He's talking to his pharmacist buddy, and he's just like, what's this drug? And he's just like, where'd you get this? He's like, my brother. He's like, I thought your brother was dead, blah, 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 blah. And he starts talking about like, oh, maybe this is that PTSD medicine that the FDA was like, no, we don't want to do this. The side effects, blah, blah, blah. And he's all like anti that shit. Like his attitude is just like, fuck the government. FDA's fucking pussies. I think he said the FDA's fucking pussies.
Yes.
I think he said that.
I do remember that. Yes.
It got shelved. Bad side effects or some shit. The fucking FDA are a bunch of pussies.
Which is the funniest line in this is the FDA are fucking pussies.
There's another one that comes later, but yes, that is one of the standout lines. The FDA is fucking pussies.
There's very few funny parts in this movie. It's mostly just very boring, but that made me laugh out loud. The FDA are fucking pussies.
The very end, when we get to it, also made me laugh. Anyway, continue.
But you know where he stands on the issue. Foreshadowing. Kind of, sort of, maybe. But Jacob's just like, just tell me what's going on with this shit. And then he just leaves the vial with him. Jacob walks home and gets like propositioned by a sex worker on the street who is the same actress as the girl that was hanging out with the pharmacist earlier. And I don't know why she's this person now, but she is.
I think it was the same lady at the beginning. The one who woke Jacob up from his daydream of working.
Oh yeah. She's changing roles.
Yeah.
So she was a doctor, then she was like a friend of the pharmacist, and now she's like hooker. I don't know. And she's all stereotypically like ridiculous, streetwalker bullshit. Like, I'm just gonna throw myself on somebody and kiss them on the fucking face.
I mean, there's a reason for that, but we'll get to it.
And call them baby.
Baby.
Yeah, there's a dumb reason for that.
Oh
but who
man,
cares?
it's the dumbest.
It's dumb. This is too dumb. I can't take any of this seriously.
God, this is so green and orange. I fucking hate
it's
looking
so
at
green.
it.
Oh, and then they try to do the scene with the car trying to run Jacob down, but it's not nearly as good.
Scene.
And it doesn't have a twitchy guy in the back seat. So what's the point? These guys in the car actually get out and threaten him with a gun. Instead of just like with a gun instead of just kind of like weaving and trying to hit him. And it was like, what was that shit? Was that intentional or was that just like a crazy drunk driver? It seemed like they were really trying to kill me there. And like the ambiguity is completely gone because this guy gets out of the car, points a gun in Jacob's face and says like, better watch who you talk to or some fucking generic shit. I don't even remember what he said.
The best part of that is how he gets out of that situation is some random dude.
It's some guy who from a restaurant is like throwing out the trash and interrupts this guy with the gun. And he actually goes like, hey, what are you doing over there? Stop that. Or something.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing, you crazy guy? And then the guy with the gun pointing it at Jacob is just like, oh God, it's that guy. Run.
He runs away like a scared raccoon.
They like get in the car and drive away and it's just like,
the restaurant guy is treating this guy with a gun like he is a scared raccoon trying to get in the trash or something, not a guy with a fucking gun.
Who just ran over a man.
What the hell? So that guy runs away and the restaurant guy's like, you want me to call the cops? And he's just like, no cops, no cops.
No cops, no cops.
Which is funny because like the cops so far have only been just like, just unhelpful.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem like it was a purposeful like conspiracy. Whereas like in the original Jacob's Ladder, you don't even really talk to any cops in that whole thing. But like,
nope.
It's just clear like from the tension of the whole situation that it's a conspiracy. And like it makes emotional sense for the characters to treat it like it's a conspiracy and not go to authorities. But here it doesn't make a lot of sense. It was just like I went to some cops and they didn't believe me.
Yep.
That one time.
Yep.
You know? Oh, anyway, we finally have an establishing shot of the fucking city we're in. That we are more than halfway through the movie. They're at the 46-minute mark. We finally get a shot of allegedly Atlanta. Y'all really need to work on getting some iconic buildings up in Atlanta. I'm really sorry, but nothing's standing out here. There's a Marriott. Good for you guys.
Harsh.
I'm sorry. What? It's nothing, man. Sorry, Atlanta people. You feel free to stop watching my Let's Play if you feel like it. I understand.
I have a feeling people from Atlanta are really chill and would just agree with you. They'd just be like, yeah.
We'll have to ask Sarah. She's from Hotlanta, right?
Oh, okay.
Isn't she? I think so.
Well, then definitely 100% of the people that I know from Atlanta are chill as hell.
Same. But yeah, fucking Jacob goes back home. He's all disheveled. He comes home and Sam and his brother Isaac are playing with the baby boy, Gabriel, who's very cute. They got a real baby for this movie. Good for them.
Yeah.
At least they did that.
Oh, but they did not waste an opportunity to, at the very beginning, I totally forgot to mention this, but what's her name? Sam puts the baby over her shoulder, baby Gabriel. And as soon as the baby is out of the shot, as soon as you don't see the baby's mouth, you just hear a stock kid laughing.
Yes. Just like, they do the best stock baby laughs in this. It's like,
it's like
that fucking one. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. Get new sound effects. But they can ADR the baby, but they can't ADR that guy to say the right line. So
seriously,
whatever.
Like, get the baby to say the line. He'd probably do it better.
But yeah, they're looking like a nice little family here. There's a little tension there because we already know that Isaac and Sam used to be a thing.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of tension there, but it's not like acted upon well, like director wise. Like you don't feel that tension that he might be coming to steal your girl, sort of thing. I don't know. It seemed like they were trying to do that, but they didn't like go for it. You know, it's just implied. Yeah. But Jake looks like hell. He's bleeding a little or something. And Sam's like, oh, I'll get you an ice pack. Apparently they had ice packs. They're probably all out of ice at this point, I assume.
They're regenerating.
And Isaac's looking pretty okay right now. He doesn't look so bad. And right now it's Jacob that's looking kind of shitty right now.
Yep.
Then Jake and Sam go upstairs to talk, and he's just like, we need to get out. I think people are there's like conspiracy people are coming after me. You need to go stay in a hotel, you and Gabe. I just want you guys to be safe while I figure out what's going on. And she's all pissy about this, obviously. The second establishing shot finally happens. Same place, nighttime, Atlanta. And then it's like it just has another weird establishing shot of a place I don't know.
It's probably the subway.
It's a building, but then
it's the above ground
after
subway.
After you see the building, you're in the subway. Like, it just cuts.
Yep.
It cuts right to the subway. He's running in the subway. I'm just like, what? How was that building the subway?
Through a fence.
I don't understand.
There's just a little fence in the subway. You just pop through the fence. No one really cares about subway security. You just go in.
All right. Well, while he was talking to Sam earlier, Isaac ran away.
Yes.
Isaac runs away a whole bunch in this movie. He'll just like bolt, and you'll be like, "What the fuck? Come back, dude! Where are you running to?" But he ran to the subway to go shoot up more ladder, which previously has been shown to be an ingestible drug and not a shootable drug.
Yep.
Are there drugs that you can just eat in like as a liquid instead of shooting?
We'd have to talk to our friend Tomato Grandpa about that one, but I think so. I mean, it's also maybe there are two versions of the drug.
I feel like you probably could like drink like heroin if you wanted to, but why would you want to? It's probably like gonna like completely burn your entire esophagus on the way down. It's probably gonna taste like fucking garbage. It probably doesn't have the same effect. I don't know. I should ask Mario before just talking about random garbage I don't know anything about. But he's shooting up the ladder, and, you know, fucking Jake is just like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he's all strung out and ridiculous and, like, angry. And then, like, they cut away, and he's, like, normal. He's not really sweating anymore. Like, they just had, like, a big, like, like break in between those two scenes, and he's not nearly as jazzed as he was a second ago. They have some Afghanistan flashbacks, because Jake's like, tell me what happened in Afghanistan. He's just like, okay, we were led into an ambush. It all went to shit. A lot of people died. It was awful. And then Isaac goes like, oh, she's here. And Jacob turns around and sees this zombie lady. Yep. And for some reason, chases her.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Because she is the lady who pushed the other guy in front of the train.
Oh, okay.
She's established earlier. She's the woman who pushes his who at this point
his army vet friend.
Yeah, at this point you think it's Ike's friend. Twist happens later. But the thing for me about her is that even though there is that other guy who I made fun of for being the demon, the face warp guy, she is like a constant demon face warp. She just has darkened eyes and her whole body is like a bluish green. And
yeah, she looks like one of the frosty zombies from fucking Game of Thrones or something.
It's so fucking bad looking. And every time she's on screen, which makes the ending much more funny. But anyway.
But he chases her. She disappears, obviously, because she's not fucking real, my dude. And he almost gets hit by a train, apparently. But then it like flashes back or forward or adjacent, and you see the zombie lady again. She's pushing a gurney with Jacob on it, and he's got CGI fucking blood in his face. Not even real blood. I don't know why.
Oh, man.
And this is the best you're going to get when it comes to
right.
the iconic gurney scene. This is the gurney scene. You are not going to see a better version of the gurney scene, even though the gurney scene is way more iconic. It's just so much cooler looking, so much more emotionally effective. It's got the original one has the doctor with no eyeballs in it. No, you're not going to get any of that fucking shit. You're just going to get this really brief gurney shot, not even going to see the ceiling, which is insane to me. That whole scene is about the ceiling.
Yep.
And that's your gurney scene, and it's going to reoccur a little bit later, but you're not going to care about it.
Because it's dumb.
And then Jake wakes up, and he's in the hotel room?
So fucking frustrating. It's like he chases her, and then he like almost gets hit by a train, and then all of a sudden he's there being wheeled around, and then he just wakes up. It honestly, parts of this felt like a fucking Silent Hill fan film, complete with people grabbing their head in pain.
And then waking up over and over again and just teleporting because they woke up somewhere else.
I'd like to do a count of how many times Jacob in this movie wakes up, sleep teleports, and then compare it to like fucking Homecoming. Anyway.
More like wake up splatter. Whoa.
Oh shit. It's actually pretty witty.
He wakes up in the Marriott or whatever, and his whole little family is there,
More
as well as
advertising.
Kevin Spacey guy. It's the Marriott, as well as Kevin Spacey's stunt double is there, his therapist, and he's like, right now, Isaac is clearly like, this is the point where it's just like boop boop, they're done, they're switched. These roles are completely switched. There was no big gradient here. It was just like, last scene, Isaac was a strung out freak. This scene, he is the responsible guy. He is not, tweaking at all. And Jacob is the tweaker here. They're just like, well, I don't know why you're in the subway. We don't know what you're doing. You're tearing us apart and stuff like that. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't in the subway. I don't like.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is the first part where it happens, but they keep hammering it home after this, and it's just like, oh my god, this is the thing that you're doing. You're. There's so many. Anyway, let's continue because it's just.
Hoffman, the pharmacist, calls him on his Cricket brand phone, and he's just like, I got info about the ladder or something. Like, I don't remember, but like, meet me in this warehouse. So they drive to this warehouse and they immediately get ambushed by who knows what. They got guns.
Immediately get shot at.
They have the most boring car chase I've seen in my life.
Oh my god, it's so fucking sad.
I was falling asleep during this car chase. It's a short car chase, but wow, absolutely nothing happens in it.
And the best part is it's confined to the space that they clearly had set aside for the fucking car chase. It's like they're driving around this abandoned building that's like a block big. It's clearly just a fucking lot that they rented. And it's like, oh yeah, just shoot them with blanks. I don't even know if they even had the dignity to shoot with blanks. They were just probably just putting lens flares on the fucking guns. Anyways.
I don't even know, man.
But yeah, it's bad. And as soon as they hit the highway, I'm sorry. Jacob's driving a little fast, which is scaring Ike.
Yes, scaring Isaac a little bit. He's just like, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. They're gone, broski. They're gone. And then they warp back to the Hyatt. No, the Marriott. The Hyatt's in the background. My bad.
Oh my God. We have to do the whole podcast over.
Look at all of these fucking, like, establishing shots of a hotel, but I never saw Jacob's house. Like, this is crazy. They're back at the hotel. I don't remember why, but they're having a sad conversation. Things get a little heated. They're like, hey, Jake, you're acting real fucking weird. Yep. Isaac's acting real fucking normal and kind of exasperated at all this.
Yep. And this is when
he's like, what's that rattling noise? And like the vents are rattling, and that's like giving him a bad time in the head. It makes him grab his head and hit his head.
I love it when people grab their heads. It's just such a wonderful,
like a crazy man.
Oh man. And then he sees Ike grabbing Sam and putting his hand on her like more than friends.
Before that, Sam, like, he looked at Sam's face and she had like kind of like worms under her skin.
Yep, you're totally right. Another someone was having fun with After Effects. Yep, and then that happens, and then this is when you're starting to really get hit with the they've swapped.
They swapped.
It's a life swap sitch.
You idiots! They even have a really bad shot in a warped mirror for a moment.
Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing. The funniest fucking thing was it's just Isaac. They call him Ike in the movie. They also call him Isaac. It's a nickname. He puts his hand on Sam's shoulder and just like in kind of like
and that was enough.
That was enough to completely set fucking Jacob off. And he just starts wailing on fucking Isaac.
He just gets in a big fight. He breaks the hotel mirror. You're going to have to pay for that. The mirror looks like it's digitally broken, by the way. I don't think they could afford to break a real mirror in this movie.
Oh,
it looks like it was motion tracked to the mirror. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
They didn't want to use some sugar glass. That's always fun.
No, too expensive. Let's do it CG style. I don't know. It just doesn't look right if you watch it.
It'll look right in After Effects.
But that makes the baby cry. So just leave. Just
get out of here,
says Sam. And so he leaves, and like. He's in like the elevator of the Hyatt or whatever, going down to have a tantrum in the elevator, which I thought was kind of funny.
It reminded me of that Vine of the kid going down the elevator and like raving by himself, like doing the fucking dab constantly to like his left and right.
Oh my God. I've never seen that.
Oh,
gotta give me that. I'll put it in the video. It'll be precious. But this is the greatest scene ever where we meet the scary janitor. He goes somewhere. Man. I don't know where he went. I guess the VA hospital again, maybe?
Yes, he went to the VA hospital again, yes. Because he's right outside of where the chemist is. Because he went there for the chemist.
Right, yes. He's going to see Hoffman.
Yep.
He runs into this spooky janitor. I don't know what it is with bad horror movies and janitors, but it's a thing. The janitor just gives him the old zombie morph face spookums, which you should talk about it being like the easiest effect to do right now in After Effects.
It's not that it's easy. It's just that I've seen it so much, and in this movie, I pointed out the other woman actually has it on her constantly. It's basically just an After Effects trick where a person is like, you can just take a person's face in After Effects and then kind of map onto it a morph where a person's features will get exaggerated, and you can kind of track to their face and then pull their like mouth all the way down so that they have a really, really like wide, elongated mouth. And
big
it's just,
spooky mouth.
Yeah, and it happens. It's just a jump scare. It's a way, and we're naturally like we're constantly looking for faces, and it's pareidolia, and we're looking at the face, and then if it shifts in a certain way and becomes strange and monstrous, that's
the
fucking
uncanny valley attacking you.
Exactly, and usually this effect is coupled by them coming at the screen or coming at the character, and that happens in this where the guy
also screaming.
Yes, always. I think this happens a bunch in the Paranormal Activity movies. Like bad horror movies, it's a staple. It's just something that they all fucking do at some point. And sometimes it doesn't even make any fucking sense, like in Jacob's Ladder, where it's just a janitor man. He's just listening to his fucking iPod or whatever. And then all of a sudden, Jacob's like, hey, he like kind of claps at one point to get his attention, and it's kind of it seems like he's like this janitor is kind of late. It's kind of insinuated that maybe he's not all there. I guess he's like
this movie just uses like mentally disabled and PTSD people as like just kind of like
fodder,
monsters of the moment. You know, it's like, why are you doing that? Ew, don't. How about?
And then he just like fucking yells he just like screams. It's just like rah,
rah, and it makes him stumble into a bathroom, it turns into a bathroom. All of a sudden he's in his army regalia and he's getting married to Sam. This is a flashback he stumbled into after getting scared.
Janitor fucking
right into flashing back.
I was just about to say,
it's like the janitor yelled at him, "Do you remember how lovely your wedding was?"
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm back there now.
It's your anniversary.
Oh man, that'd be a good superpower. I want to remember precious moments. They should have precious moments figurines, like with just the screaming janitor,
the scream face. Rah!
Remember when you were a child and being pushed on the swing? Ah!
But yeah, it's Sam and Jacob's wedding, and Isaac is there, being sloshed and being bitter because he was Sam's boyfriend before Jacob had her, or whatever. So he gets up and he does a sloshed ass speech about like him, getting his girlfriend stolen by Jake at the wedding, which is extremely classy. Jake tells him to knock it off, and basically Isaac fucking decks him.
Decks the shit out of him.
Classy dude. And then he just like wakes up, and the janitor man is trying to help him. He's just like, young man. And this is when they did that gradient shift.
Yes.
That gradient shift.
Ugh. Hate.
From amber to green, which is how you know you're going from past to the terrible now.
I gotta watch it again.
It's bad. It's real bad.
Oh man.
And then he just goes outside. I thought he was going here to see Hoffman, but he left. I don't know why he did that. And then, like, I think he gets another phone call or something, doesn't he? Does he? And it's from Sam, and she's like, "I'm worried.
Yep.
We're at the house. Please call." And he comes in and accidentally sneaks up on her. And she's just like, "Oh, you scared me." And she's got the baby and all that stuff. And this is the scene where it's like extremely laid out, obviously, that he and Jacob he and Isaac have switched places. If you were super stupid and could not grasp this, that's what's going on here. Also, there's a mosquito and it's like right in my face. What is going on here? Go away.
Uh-oh. You got a window open?
No.
Speaking of windows, that's apparently how Jacob got into the house because he could not find his key. So he just fucking jumped through a window. Having a lot of home entry, breaking and entry problems lately, huh? Yeah. And that's another thing, like,
including Him.
before he didn't tell Sam that these two fucking guys broke into their fucking house.
Yeah, that was in that scene earlier, and he was like, "I want us to go to the hotel." He mentioned that the house was broken into, and she's like, "What the fuck? You didn't tell me? I live here."
The other thing is that one dude got smashed into that fucking painting. Like the glass was shattered everywhere. It's like, did he go home and clean that up? Well, anyway, I'm not going to get super nitpicky on that, but
it was probably like this is one of those like movies where it doesn't, because it's all a dream at the end. It doesn't matter.
See,
we'll
talk about that.
That's what you were talking. Yeah, that's what you were talking about earlier. And there's also other things that it's like, because it is all a dream, why did you even do this stuff?
Yep.
But we'll get to that. Anyway, back to the movie. He's like, I know I've been fucking up and stuff like that. I want us to be real with each other, and like, I'm so sorry. I'm just like really stressed out right now. There's this crazy stuff happening. I think people are after me. Blah blah blah. And he's just like, and Sam is clearly uncomfortable the whole time and is acting like she's not his wife, because she isn't in this timeline. And Isaac finally comes around to like, give her an out for this. And she's clearly relieved when Isaac shows up, because he's, Jake's acting kind of a little unhinged here. And he's just like, please, I'm trying to have a conversation with my wife. And I was like, she is not your wife. She is my wife.
Dun, dun,
what are you talking about? Dun, dun, dun. And everyone's got a really sad face on during this scene. And Jake runs up the stairs, but then it cuts to another shot and he's running down the stairs, which is really confusing. Yeah, I'm going to watch that again. No, maybe he did go down. It's just a bad place to shoot this. The architecture of this scene is really strange. I don't know what's going on with the ceiling, and it's not on purpose. But gorgeous foyer anyway. But he goes and checks out all the family photos, and yes, it's all Sam with Isaac and not him. Yep. And then he also has he looks at his tummy, and the scar that Isaac should have had is a scar that he has. Yep. So there was a battle scar. He looks at his arm and he's got the heroin shots. He's got the heroin shots in one arm, and on his other arm he's got the tattoo.
Yep. Dun, dun, dun.
And then has some flashbacks where it's like, yeah, we know. Where it's like, it's flashing back to like the scene where like Sam and whatever singer boy is in the club doing shots, and instead of Isaac, it's now Jacob in the flashback.
Yep. It's like almost all of the flashbacks that they did with Jacob, they're just switched. It's Isaac instead of Jacob.
Instead of Isaac, it's Jacob. Yeah.
Including,
and even like parts that like in the underground scenes. Yeah, including ones we just saw.
Like the party. It's like, okay,
we know.
Dude. But also, it's just like, it's constantly hammering this home. It's just like, do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Because it's like, not only...
We got it half a movie ago, man. Yeah.
Not only, and this lasts so fucking long, not only is Jacob being told specifically by Isaac, Isaac says, she is my wife. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh my God. Oh, I can't believe. And he like stumbles down the stairs. Oh, he grabs a photo. Oh, I can't. And then he throws the photo on the ground and shatters the frame to get at the picture. To get at it so it's real. The real picture in his hands. And then he looks at his stomach, and then he looks at his arm, and it's like, yes, it's real. And then he looks at his other arm. We know. It's like, holy fucking shit.
And then we have the flashbacks, and it's like, we know.
It's like, we fucking get it. Holy shit. This lasts like 20 minutes or like 15.
I suppose like the director thought that like, oh, this will really like make it seem like it's all coming apart. And it's like, no, it's just really redundant. It makes me feel like you didn't trust me to understand what you were going for here. And really, I definitely know what you're saying here.
Yep.
And then he also has the realization that Gabe is not his kid.
Yep.
Sam's just like, no.
And then
which I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means for the timeline of events, by the way, if any of that mattered, if any of that happened. I don't think it was like, because like depending on when he died, does that mean that Sam was already with Isaac, or was Sam never with Isaac in that particular time? It doesn't really matter, does it?
I think those were just fake memories that he had. I think
all of them are fake, yeah. But it's like, I don't know.
But he turns to Sam and goes like, "You." If I remember correctly, he was like, "You two were the only thing I had," and that really fucks up Sam. And it's like,
yeah,
he's like,
and it's like, it was nice living your life or something.
No, that happens later. Yeah, that happens
whatever.
like one of the last. I think that was his last line, or like close to it.
Oh, and then Jacob runs away like a maniac,
yep.
and he goes, guess where? Guess where he goes? Back to the subway, motherfuckers. We are back in the subway.
Hell yeah.
It looks like an entirely different subway than earlier, so I don't know what's going on there.
Who wants what's a foot long? We're going to Subway. What would they call it? $4 foot long? $5 foot long?
Something like that.
Anyway.
But he's tripping out in the subway. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you are on the ladder. And it's that lady with the zombie face again. He's looking right at her. And then he has a flashback to Afghanistan. Is that what's going on
Yep.
here? Yeah, we're back in Afghanistan. And it basically is the same thing we already saw, but now it's the other guy.
Yep, now it's filled in.
And we do the whole jarhead thing all over again.
Yep.
And it's all like super, super amber because it's Afghanistan.
Super amber. I fucking hate that. In order to denote heat, you just make everything super like yellow and amber, and it's
Everything's
whatever.
piss colored.
Yeah, gotta make everything look like piss. It's piss Christ.
Piss means heat. So then we switch to a totally different scene, and now we're introducing a different color. It is red.
Oh, I love red.
It's time for red, the color of sexy, lusty sex.
The red light district. Oh, I get
The
it.
red light district for the sexings. He is on the street, and that not Jezebel lady, she's here, and she's like, hey, I need you to come back, baby. And then she takes him upstairs. He's like, I don't know you. And she's like, yeah, you do. And she shoots him up with the ladder, and they have some sexy, lusty sex, kind of demonic sex, and it's super boring. It is the most dull sex scene I've ever seen.
I don't know how you can take one of the most fucking crazy, freaky scenes from the original Jacob's Ladder and just make it so
boring.
banal. It's fucking impressive how much they just sucked the goddamn style and life out of the original movie.
It's so awkward. And she's fully naked, and he's like got his jeans on still, and it's like,
Yep.
wow, you're a really great lover to just fucking fuck right through your jeans, buddy.
Well, that happened earlier too. Like
it's so
when
stupid.
Sam sat on him while he was on the couch.
That was just kissing.
He just
That was just kid. They weren't sexing yet. That was the
they were getting
pre-sex
to.
kiss.
All right.
sesh.
I'll give you that.
They weren't sex. They are having sex in this, and he has his fucking pants on, yo. But also, she has wings and is shaking a lot. And
Yep.
It looks really bad.
And the other thing was that I got from this scene, like she was constantly like hiding her chest. Like,
Oh yes, you don't see tits in this.
No,
you do not.
she's constantly in awkward position, and I'm not like, oh, where are my fucking tits? God damn it! I'm like, it's fucking noticeably awkward. Like
It's super awkward. It's very a tortured, like I did not sign on for full frontal,
Yep.
like sort of thing that she's doing.
and it's like they're having sex, and she's got her arms around her, and it's just like fucking what?
Yeah, like just hiding her nipples at any cost. It's like very chaste. The most chaste sex ever, with pants on and no boobs, and
Which
really,
makes
it's really something.
Which really fucks up the imagery of the fucking demon wings coming out of her back.
Yeah, the incubus succubus imagery they're going for here is completely flat because like you gotta see some boobage to get shocked by it, right? Like I don't know, man.
I mean, it's
like-
like the Samael from fucking Silent Hill 1, you know? It's like you
Yeah.
gotta have the
That
sexiness
thing's got
with
boobs.
the fucking freakiness, because that's the
Yeah.
kind of the fucking point. Anyway,
Sex and death.
so let me ask you a question: Were those CG wings or were those prosthetics?
Those are real wings. She was actually a succubus that they hired. No, those are CG wings, of course. They're
CG?
not gonna-
You think? Okay.
Oh yeah, they look really.
I was gonna say I'm leaning towards CG, but I kind of wanna get your reaction to that.
No, let me look at them again. It's just really bad. Oh wait, I went too far.
So did they.
So awkward. God, it's just so awkward. I hate it. And it reminds me of like the sensuality in the original Jacob's Ladder. Because like you do see some boobs here and there. Yeah, those are CG and they look like fucking garbage. They're not
God.
even moving like the right way. They're just kind of like rotating on a single axis
Yep.
while blurring a lot. So it kind of looks like motion. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, they blur the entire frame. Like it's just constant like smearing all over the fucking place. Partly because
That's what sex is like, right?
Exactly.
Just like this.
Oh man, it's just I'm trying to count on my hand the amount of times that we saw actual like rubber and prosthetics in this, like actual practical
Twice?
effects.
Maybe. There was the guy with the feet. I think that was it.
Which was probably the most like well done shot.
It was like a 1 second shot.
Because they didn't just hang on it. Like everything else is just like, okay, that's CG. Okay, that looks fucking terrible.
They really lingered on this like demon sex scene, and it's not
it's
visceral.
so,
It's not interesting. It's nothing. This whole movie's so boring.
oh god, it looks so bad.
And like the original had boobs in it, but it was just like the originals. The boobs in the original were mostly just because like it kind of grounded the movie. It's like, this is life. When you live with your girlfriend, sometimes she doesn't have her top on. She's fixing her hair after you wake up or after you've had sex or something like that.
Yep.
Like sometimes you're just topless and it's not treated like super sexually. It's just like, her boobs are out, whatever. And it's just like that domestic nudity was kind of like grounding in that movie. And there was like sexy stuff in it where you didn't see anything. Like the monster sex scene was all like these like horrible implications, which made it like your mind was reeling because it wasn't showing you what was going on. And
it was showing you just like enough for you to be like, oh shit, oh what the fuck,
like, oh god, what did I just see? Oh, what is that? Oh,
because
like,
you're getting really quick flashes, and one of them is during that sex scene in the original Jacob's Ladder is like a fucking like thing wrapping around her thigh and like going
and it's
up,
like
and it's
really
like, oh,
this
fuck.
really like phallic tentacle.
Yep.
But like you only see it for like a second or less.
Yep.
And it's just like these really, really quick shots of it. But this sex scene in 2019 Jacob's Ladder is just like this one shot of this lady covering her boobs and having wings, and it's just so boring. Ridiculous.
They're not even really having sex. She's just like on top of him, and she's just kind of like touching her face, like kind of keeping her arms down so that she can block, like, seeing any titty.
So awkward.
It's just so
awkward.
I
can't deal. And then like the sex scene abruptly stops.
Yep.
And Isaac is in this hovel, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And the girl is like, "I didn't know what to do. You're freaking out, man. I just found it. He was like one of the contacts on your phone, man. So just call him in or something." And they're all like, "We're going to get you help, little buddy." And he's like, "I'm all drugged up and fucked up." And I don't know. Then he runs away again.
He's always running away.
I don't know why. He just ran away. He goes like up a building real far. I don't know what building this is. It's weird because he was descending the whole rest of this movie. It's weird that he ascended one time, and it seemed like they were doing a thematic thing, but then they fucked up and they made him go up a bunch of stairs by accident.
Because they wanted to get that nice shot, the only nice shot in the movie of him going up the stairs and the camera coming down like the middle of the staircase.
That's the only good shot in this movie. But he runs into...
And it's not even original, so...
No, it isn't at all. But he runs into the Jacob's Ladder lab, the lab where they're making the ladder, and it's Hoffman who's making the ladder, and it's because he wants to help the PTSD victims.
Mm-hmm.
They have this conversation through a fence that is not even closed, and it's open on the side, so I don't know why they're acting like there's like a lock on it and stuff. I don't know, whatever. But it was weird. And then Isaac follows him. He's just like, "You bastard, you did this to him." And he's like, "No, like he wanted the ladder. He was begging me for it. He had terrible flashbacks and things. And the FDA were pussies and they stopped, manufacturing this drug, but I think it could still help people because I'm a big dumbass." And then fucking Isaac is like, I'm calling the cops, you fucking asshole.
Yep. Because that's what you do when you're calling the cops on someone. You would loudly announce, "I am calling the cops." You
loudly announce it in front of their meth lab while they have a gun, and he points the gun at him, and he's just like, "I'm still calling the cops. You can't stop me. I'm calling them right now. Please come and arrest this man for drug crimes, Mr. Officer Man. He is also pointing a gun at me, officer. That is also, I believe, illegal." So
he is breaking a law.
He's breaking a law. And I think there was some sort of implication that like he like Hoffman gave the drug to Jacob to give to that guy who died at the very beginning of the movie, who we don't know.
Oh, it's not an implication. They straight up show a shot of Jacob giving it to the guy at the beginning.
But it was so confusing because I was like, I don't care about him. What are you doing? Like, I don't care at all about that guy.
Well, it's another fucking problem of this movie where it's like they have to explain like everything. Everything needs to make sense to the viewer. Everything.
That guy doesn't matter.
It's like the original Jacob's Ladder did. Like it's still being debated to this day what fucking happened. Like we just talked about how we don't exactly know because the movie doesn't talk about this stuff in specifics. Mm-hmm. It's like fucking like have some balls. Don't worry about not have some balls. That was the wrong way to say that. Have some guts about fucking
have some guts.
Like sticking to your theme. But as we're about to find out,
there is
no fucking theme.
There's no theme here. But fucking Hoffman's holding Isaac up at gunpoint, but not really. He's like, I'm still calling the cops. You can't stop me.
You can't shot me. Oh wait,
you can't shot me. Except you can shot me. So he shoots, but
you can't shoot me, says guy who was shot.
What are you gonna do? Shoot me? I'll call the cops on you? That's illegal. You can't shoot me.
That would be two illegals.
You're gonna be in so much trouble. The cops are gonna yell at you so bad when you shoot me. You won't. Oh my god. Oh, you're gonna regret this, mister. But he tries to shoot Isaac, but Jacob dives and gets shot and also fucking defenestrates him out the window. I can't believe they did a defenestration in this movie. That is a weird thing to do out of nowhere. But they slow-mo defenestrate these guys. They fall into a parking lot while Jacob looks like he's reaching peace and atoning for something. Okay.
Yep.
And then like it cuts down to the parking lot and Isaac is down there cradling Jacob while he's bleeding out and dying. And Hoffman is like fucking 12 feet away from him. Like, how did they fall together but land in completely different spots of the parking lot?
Well, I mean,
it's just weird.
That's not, I wouldn't, don't worry about that.
I know, I'm cinema-sensing it a little here, but I thought that was funny.
Please don't. Please stop. But yes,
I thought it was funny that they were so far apart.
I think it's more funny that apparently if you jump out of a window that's like, what was that, 6-7 stories up, you just get a little blood on your face, and then apparently that that's it.
But
that's all that happens.
The puddle of blood is quite large. They're bleeding a lot from those tiny cuts on their face. Well, I think he also got shot.
Yes,
he's bleeding.
But
he's
they're
bleeding
both
from his gut,
from
but
from their face.
Hoffman, however, is only squished from falling out windows. Yeah. The cops do come, by the way. He successfully called the cops on this guy, which is hilarious. And Isaac is crying and cradling Jacob, and then it cuts to black. And it cuts to the gurney. We're back on the gurney, everybody. And
he's got
the CG blood on he's got the CG blood on his face, and the fucking zombie lady is pushing him on the gurney. And then she
toward a bright light.
Someone turns on a light and she's like not a zombie, she's like a nurse.
This is
clearly a German nurse. I don't know.
Clearly an angel. Oh, fucking damn it. Okay, so this is where
I'm surprised they didn't fucking put wings behind her to make it more obvious. And then you've got the last shot of him in the field going toward the sunset for some reason. I don't know.
Fuck off, movie. So this is when they had that effect on this woman who is revealed here to be an angel taking fucking him to an angel freeing him from the earth, quite literally doing exactly what that fucking line was saying, which is oh God, it hurts. Everything hurts. But like they had that effect on her where she had like the dark eyes, and then as the lights come on, it like reverts back to like the effect gets taken off. And
it un-CGs her face.
It's so bad.
I still can't get over the CG blood on his face is awful.
And the same for the other guy. I keep forgetting his name. Was it start with an H?
Hoffman?
Hoffman had the exact same effect on him when he was laying down looking at Jacob when he died after they jumped out of the window. So the other thing that we didn't mention is that like the previous scene, like right after Jacob had sex with that one lady the Jezebel stand-in. I think that was where Jacob turns to Isaac when Isaac comes and saves him. is even though he didn't really save him, I don't think he just showed up and Jacob woke up. Anyway, so he goes, "Your life was pretty great, man." It's something to that effect. He's basically
it was nice living your life
nice
for a
living your
little
life.
while or something.
Yeah, and it was just like, was that? Did you mean to do that? Is that the reason? Like, there was another line where Jacob says toward the end, like the ladder replaces your memories with demons.
Yeah,
and it's like
with fucked up ones or with demons or something. Like, it does, like, the PTSD drug is supposed to make you forget, and it's not making you forget. It's replacing those memories with like horrible hallucination things, demons, whatever.
You know, apparently it was killing other people, but for Jacob, it's that makes sense, I guess, because he's experimenting on the drug.
The ladder doesn't matter because in the original, the ladder was real. It was given to the troops in Vietnam, and it made them go cuckoo banana crazy and kill all their buddies, right? And also have a really, really in-depth death dream while they're dying from after doing ladder stuff. That was real. That part was real. The ladder's real. In this timeline, he's already dead and dreaming this stuff. He has never had a taste of the ladder. Because the ladder is a PTSD drug.
Right.
It's for post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
He can't take a post-traumatic stress disorder drug if he's dead.
Well,
what the fuck is the point?
No. Oh, I thought you were talking. Okay. So here's where this is my main major problem with the movie. So
because nothing in the movie says that they were giving the drugs to people in combat already at the time.
In the original.
The original does. This one doesn't.
This movie says that they were giving it to people in combat because I thought that Hoffman. I got Holloway confused from Homecoming. Hoffman is giving.
I thought his name was Kaufman for a long time because I didn't have subtitles. I was like, Kaufman, are you serious?
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Oh no, we're going to Alchemilla Hospital in order to treat the. Fuck off. But that would have been fucking worse. But. No, I thought that Hoffman was giving it to people with PTSD to treat their PTSD, and some people were dying.
Yes.
And the reason why Jacob was given it is because he had PTSD, not from being a doctor, a combat medic, but like he had thought he remembered, but he actually was ambushed. When they were attacking some fucking guy, and his whole squad got taken out, and he survived.
Yeah, none of that matters. All the things you said doesn't matter because he didn't survive. He died.
No, he didn't die. Not in this one.
No, he died.
No, he did not.
At the end of the movie,
At the end of the movie, he dies because he jumped out of the window, taking Hoffman out with him. That's when he died. No, I'm serious. I just watched this. Like this is the main reason why this movie fucking infuriates me.
They're both bad. They're both bad. Both of our versions are bad.
Dude, no. This is worse. Because the original Jacob's Ladder was based on was one of the influences. I shouldn't say based on. One of the influences of the original Jacob's Ladder was an occurrence at Owl Creek. That is a famous short story about a man who is getting executed, dropped over a river, if I remember correctly, and then the rope that he's being hanged with snaps.
The rope breaks.
He swims to safety. It's this huge journey to get home, and when he finally gets home to his wife, he fucking his neck snaps at the very end, and he dies in the bridge. It's all
it's the original. It was all a dream.
Yes, and it's all that, like Jacob's Ladder, it's all about that. It's all about like the process that your brain goes through as you're fucking dying, and what a brain could, like, what stories it could concoct, what sense it can make of the situation that you're in. And to me, I'm not even 100% sold on Jacob's Ladder, the ladder itself being the drug being a real thing. It might be a metaphor. There's no, like, I don't think, if I remember correctly, there's no evidence in the movie itself that that's actually real, because that's a thing that happens in his dying dream.
My one complaint about the original Jacob's Ladder, yes, I have a complaint about the original Jacob's Ladder. It's awful. I'm sorry.
You're not allowed to be critical.
At the very end, the very, very end, a lot of people don't remember this part. After, Jacob's dead, they have that final shot in Vietnam of somebody just, typing his little obituary up or whatever. It goes to black and up fades in a thing that says, in the Vietnam War, the government, tested a psychedelic drug on the troops. I wish it never said that.
Yeah.
Because that makes it feel like it was based off a true story. And I
Right.
think that's goofy. And I think they shouldn't have said that. I think it should have been like ambiguous and it should have just been like more fictional and not be like, what if it was real?
I agree. I think that more movies should embrace ambiguity and do exactly the opposite of Jacob's Ladder in 2019 did, which is
Yeah, that was the only mar on that movie for me.
the original Jacob's Ladder.
The original, yeah.
Lots of Mars on Jacob's Ladder 2019.
Yeah.
But yeah, that conversation can be had, is what I'm saying. Whereas that conversation, I don't think can be had with Jacob's Ladder 2019 because they there is no flashback to him dying in Afghanistan. He survived. It's implied in the movie that the time that he actually dies is the one time that he dies at the very end of the movie when he saves his brother by taking the bullet and then pushing Hoffman out of the window and then landing and dying. And it's alluded to in the movie, like toward the middle where he's being pushed on a gurney down by the devil/angel lady. So fucking dumb. Anyway.
But I figured that because that happened earlier. So, he is having, all these flashbacks and stuff, way, way early. And also that flash forward to the gurney. How can he have a flash forward to his death if his death is not currently happening and the whole movie is his death dream?
But remember, he's got that same mark on his face. I think that was just a thing that the editor did because don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I do not know what the...
It is not implied.
If that mark wasn't on his face, though,
because he got that mark he had the exact same mark from falling.
From falling.
So
yeah,
it was a flash forward, you're right, but it wasn't a flash, it wasn't to imply.
But I think they only did that because they were like, oh shit, we need to make it more obvious when he dies because nobody knows what's happening.
Sure.
Including me, I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's very clearly supposed to be a metaphor for going to heaven or... Yeah,
and all these things. It's just a mess. This movie is a mess.
It's a mess in so many different ways. But probably the biggest way is that the original Jacob's Ladder is that sort of dying dream, like a brain's last gasps to make sense of everything in my mind, and it's about letting go, whereas this movie's not about that at all.
It's not about anything. Is this about anything?
It's about
at the very
PTSD being bad.
Yeah, PTSD is bad. At the very end, they super duper. They tried barely to have a small redemption thing because he pushed the guy out the window, but it's just okay. It wasn't until this scene that he was very obviously the bad guy. And he didn't have so much of an impact on the rest of the movie that you suspected him of being so, or that it personally matters to you as a viewer that he is a bad guy. It doesn't really matter. It's isn't drugs the bad guy when it comes down to it?
It's quite literally that. Whereas the demons tearing your life away in the fucking quote. Oh, I'm sorry. The battles tearing your life away.
The battles.
In this version of the movie, don't make any. They're just drugs in this version.
No, it's just drugs.
It's just drugs
yeah,
because drugs make you crazy.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing that this movie is trying to say. That's the other theme. Drugs make you crazy.
Yeah, the big difference between original Jacob's Ladder and this Jacob's Ladder is that the original is about the ravages of war and PTSD. And this one is about drugs, the ravages of drugs. And I feel like war and PTSD is just a convenient cause of drugs. Being strung out. It's so much about being strung out.
See,
all of these characters are strung out, and in Jacob's Ladder, the original, no one's strung out. People are just scared.
Yeah.
It's just a strange change.
It's so weird. I mean,
And like, it could have had a point. It could have, like, you could, if you want to, if you have a fucking ounce of empathy for these people, make a good version of Jacob's Ladder that is reinterpreted to be about, America's current opioid crisis, or about the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, or any number of these things, but it just didn't have any empathy for it, and it didn't have any room to breathe, even if it did have a point. Like, this movie was so, like, chopped up, tightly edited to drag us through as fast as possible that, like, even if it did have a point, it wouldn't be able to make it because there's no room for this movie to fucking breathe at all.
They're so focused on hitting the sort of the key points from the original Jacob's Ladder in order to make it make sense that this movie is called Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
That they should have just named it it should have just been a completely different fucking movie and not be beholden to the original Jacob's Ladder, so that they could do their own thing with their own unique style, sense of style and visuals. But I just think that's the bottom line of this. No one cared. No one really gave a shit. It was like, oh, we're remaking Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
Cool. And
By the numbers.
I know that's harsh. I know I don't know these people. I don't know the people that made this. I'm sure that they, they worked, the way that they did on this is, clock in, clock out. But like, sometimes you need more than that, guys. Sometimes you really need to like put yourself into your work and not just fucking follow After Effects tutorials to do your effect.
This felt like an assignment.
Yeah. It feels like, yes, it's a homework assignment.
Yeah, this felt like those Shakespeare videos where it's like you have to reinterpret and modernize Shakespeare, but with a really big budget compared to like one of those things, which is zero budget.
Sadly, no one wore sunglasses and rapped in this one about the events that were happening in the movie. Nope.
Damn
None of that. Would have been much better if they did.
Somebody please find us a Jacob's Ladder rap.
Jacob's Rapper.
Set to Gold Digger.
Oh man. It hurts.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you watch that. I didn't make you. I was just like, I heavily implied you should watch this so we could have a podcast about how bad it was.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to be bad. The freaking reviews are like, oh, so bad.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah. Oh well.
But yeah.
It is what it is.
Nobody was able to see it, and that's probably for the best.
Well,
so you're not missing out. You just heard the whole movie from us, and it was better this way anyway. This podcast is longer than the movie is by like double almost.
Really? Oh my God.
No, the movie is an hour and a half.
Oh, so we're like half an hour longer. Okay.
We're a half hour longer than the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had more fun recounting it with us, I think, than you would have if you watched the movie, dear listener.
Oh, I hope so.
It's not a good time. It's not a good time.
Nope. Bad time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, original, classic. This one, not so much. More like ASIC.
Wow, we're going to end the podcast with that, huh?
Well, what do you want to end
Okay.
it with? Here,
Jacob Satter.
Jacob Matter.
Jacob Batter. There you go. Good night, everybody.
Just put me on a gurney and wheel me off into heaven.
Second banana heaven.
That was it made me laugh so fucking hard when they cut to like the fucking, yeah, okay. So he's going to the fucking white light, and then he ends up in a fucking field, a golden field. And it's like, shut the fuck up. What is this? A fucking straight to DVD like Christian movie? Like what the
Oh, I thought this is by the producer of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I didn't realize.
Oh, didn't the trailer say that this movie was done by someone who did something actually good?
Oh, the producers of something I don't care about.
Something. Yeah, where the fuck? David M. Rosenthal. Let's see what else he did.
You tell me. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know any of these fucking things. Never mind. Fuck that.
Obscure for a reason, I presume.
Yep.
Well, that's the podcast. It was long. Sorry.
Apologies for.
Don't watch this. Watch the original and be happy for yourself. That's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Or watch Session 9. That's a good one too. It's not
Splatoon 9's a good
great,
one, too.
but it's like pretty,
Also, Angel Heart, which I'll talk about the next time I see an elevator in the Let's Play.
I need to watch that. God, I still need to watch Blue Velvet from.
I still haven't seen Blue Velvet because I'm scared.
Yeah, one of the freakiest scenes and most iconic scenes from Silent Hill 2 was apparently based on Blue Velvet, and I'm worried.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to. Scared. I don't like stuff like that. I like it when it's Silent Hill, but I don't like it when it's people.
By the way, have you seen?
It's fine. It's fine when it's a mannequin and Pyramid Head doing that stuff. It's not okay when it's Dennis Hopper.
Yes.
Doing that stuff. I don't want to.
By the way, have you seen Hereditary?
I still haven't. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to do a podcast about that one.
Also, Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsummer.
I'm
Oh
sorry.
man, I need to see that. Oh,
I hear there's like a director's cut coming out soon too.
oh, cool. I'll check that out.
Also, another director's cut to look for, kind of, sort of, the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993. A big fan of Super Mario Brothers movie. He found a film canister that had deleted scenes in it, and he's cutting them back into the movie.
Oh my god. Why?
Open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur.
I always do that.
And then I'll end the podcast with that song.
Yes.
It'll be great. Thanks for watching the Jacob's Ladder podcast.
Everyone do the Dino Boar, because we just watched the Boar movie. Dino Snore.